Rivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
Cool. And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean?
The Onside Zone.
He's a liar. And there's nothing new about that. He's full of crap. If you're believing that, I got a bridge in the Keys. It's the one on the right side. Just want you to know, when you're going south, you'll see the smaller bridge on the right. I've got that one for sale if you're interested.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
That's the one boy band that I will say, dude, I'll stand up for Boys to Men every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Love those guys. I'm sorry, I gotta be honest with you. I'm just, that's not who I am. You guys know it. I do the show and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I tell you the way things are. That's just the way I am.
You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right.
Huberdeau hanging on. Huberdeau broken up there by Bjorkstrand. Shovels a backhand up the wall. Here comes Domi into the zone. He's got Riley Nash with him. And Max Domi finds the back of the net. 4-1. On for Holmberg. Across the line. Shot from the wing. Turned aside. Rebound. Score. Lombard able to take the rebound after the initial stop by Merzlikins. It's 4-2. Columbus on a line change. Uyghur looking to walk in. Drops it back. There's a shot and a goal. Tippett from the left circle. 4-3. From the point, Yandel. It goes wide of the net. Hornqvist shovels it to Barkov. 50 seconds left. Barkov. Huberdeau. Huberdeau hanging on. Drops it there for Yandel. One-timer scores a power play goal. And we're all tied up. Sweeps it to the right wing for Vetrano. Vetrano, puck is picked up here by Huberdeau. 2-on-1. Huberdeau moves in. Save. Rebound. Scores. The Panthers come from a 3-goal third period deficit and win this in overtime.
I know, Tito. Thank you. Ah, yes, that was sweet last night. That was a hell of a comeback, dude. You're down by 3 in the third period, and you end up coming back that way and getting it done. That was absolutely strong by the Panthers last night. Good night last night, right? Because they beat the Magic, which, you know, we need the Heat to beat the Magic. And I know it was kind of a tight game and they pulled away at the end. Look, man, they got to win. I don't care. Just get the win. I'm not going to worry about the style points right now. You know why? The Magic are a pain in Miami's ass. And then the Panthers last night, they're down and they storm back to end up winning it in overtime 5-4. That was outstanding, dude. That was just one of those deals where you just you really admire the fight in this team. You know, we were talking about that yesterday with Goldie, that there's a different edge to this Panthers team than what I've seen in the years past. And you see a performance like that last night where the Blue Jackets pretty much have the game in control, and yet somehow or another Barkov and the boys, Hornqvist, Lomberg, and Tippett, Vetrano, They make it all happen, and they end up winning 5-4. That was awesome. They're tied with Tampa for second place there in the Central. Carolina's first, obviously with 39 points, but the Panthers and the Lightning are at 38. Listen, dude, you're hanging with the Lightning. You're doing pretty damn good. I mean, the record is 17-5-4. That's just a monstrous record. I haven't even checked this. Tito, that's got to be the best start in Panther history, right? There's no way they've started better than this, right? I know that the
certainly feels that way.
At least I know that once you get into the season where they had the 12-game winning streak, that might alter things. At that point to that 12-game winning streak. But, wow, this start is just absolutely phenomenal, man. So, love it last night to watch both teams win. It was a beautiful thing. Yesterday, unfortunately, we ended up winning, Tito. But I only won half my money because I actually put half of it into the money line for the hell of it, just because it was too good of a.
Hey, man, they fought, man.
Yeah, they fought.
I mean, considering all the injuries they had, they hung in there.
Yeah.
So, but we got the money.
McGusty and Brooks, both of the seniors, had nice performances. Isaiah Wong struggled a little from the field. But, I mean, and having said all that, your best player struggles from the field and you lose by 4. So you figure if Isaiah Wong plays like he normally does, you might have won that game yesterday. Just a tough one. Listen, it is what it is. It's a tough year. I hope Larinaga comes back. I hope everything continues because he's such a fantastic coach. And I know he's had a really tough go around here the last couple of years. And dealing with all of this COVID stuff, this is the kind of stuff that's just, it's disheartening. It takes the wind out of your sails, as they say. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just a really tough one there. But last night it was a good night overall to see the Panthers and the Heat win their games. Tonight, by the way, the Heat are back in action. They're taking on Chicago at 9 o'clock. The Panthers are back in action on Saturday. They will host Chicago at the BB&T Center. Sunday, Miami will visit the Magic at 7 o'clock, so they'll be off on Saturday. And then Panthers, Monday, they'll be back in action again. After the game against Chicago, they're back against Chicago on Monday at 7 o'clock. So that's what's coming up locally here overall. So got a bunch of things to talk about, a bunch of people to talk to. Jonathan Ledyard is going to be our first guest. I'm sorry, Michelle Kaufman's going to be our first guest at 12:30. And we'll talk a little UM basketball with her in the third segment of this hour. We'll talk a little Inter Miami with her, obviously, because she's covering all kinds of stories going on with Inter, and of course wrapping up the UM basketball season. We'll get her thoughts on Larinaga's future, all of that, and with the basketball team at 1:20. Jonathan Ledyard from the Pewter Report is going to join us. I'm sorry, 2 o'clock. Jonathan Ledyard's going to join us from the Pewter Report. And we're going to talk, Brady gets extension, right? So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that and what they're going to do in free agency and in the draft. We'll get his thoughts on all of that. Amin El Hassan is going to stop by at 2:30, of course, from the Dan Le Batard Show. What is the podcast called? Is it called Dan Le Batard and Stugotz, or?
Yeah, it's still called the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts.
Is that what it's called? Okay, I don't know if they changed the name or anything. So there you go. So Amin went with Dan. He left with Dan and the crew, and is working doing that. Smart move by his part, by the way. I would rather work with Dan than work at ESPN if I'm him. So nice move. Although Amin had it sweet anyways at ESPN, because as long as you don't have to live in Bristol, then you're good. I think you can get by. You know what I mean? It's just, I would personally, for me, born and raised in South Florida, dude, you want to make me live in Bristol? That would be a real problem, bro. You got to make me a millionaire in order for me to do that. It won't. A couple $100,000 won't even get me to live in Bristol. It won't. No. I love my life. I'm too old at this point. I've enjoyed this. I've said this many times. The only place that I would live outside of South Florida for work would be San Francisco. Northern California would be the only place I would move to because I lived there and I experienced it. And that is, that place is, man, just amazing. It's just sick how awesome that place is. So yeah, that would be the one right there. So anyway, so a lot of things to talk about today on the program. We got a bunch of NFL things that I want to get to. Also, Myers Leonard suspended for a week and fined $50K. And I heard Ira Winderman, I heard his segment with Kai's Corner, and he was telling KCC that, and I agree with him on this because I actually told Dono this yesterday when he was talking about this, because he was talking about how it was a light fine and suspension, and I sent Dono a text when I heard that, because I figured that's all they could do according to the CBA, because these kind of things are all worked out in the CBA. So these penalties, and remember, it's the fine and the suspension for the week doesn't mean squat. He's still not playing for the Heat. They're not ever going to let him play again. They're only holding him until the trade deadline, until his trade exemption expires. Outside of that, they're not using him for anything else at this point in time. And, it was pretty ignorant on my part the other day when I said, the Heat have got to put out the announcement that he said a anti-Semitic slur, and we have released him. And I didn't think about the business side of it, not the PR side of it. That's all I was thinking of, which was naive on my part. There's still the business side of it, and that's where I was dead wrong. And they have to handle it this way, because if they have a shot at trading for somebody, then they'll trade that. What is it? $4.5 million exemption, whatever it is they got from him.
I believe it's $5.4 million.
There you go, $5.4 million. So they'll use that, and then whatever team acquires him, they'll release him on the spot too. You know what I mean? So it's not even the team that acquires him is not really acquiring him. The team that's trading him is not really trading him. They're trading the exemption. So as far as the Miami Heat are concerned, I would imagine that he is done. What is it? Persona non grata? Is that the term they say? That's probably what he is. Okay? He's done. He's over. But they basically released him without releasing him. It's kind of like you got his ghost around, because that's all that's left. It's the ghost, and that ghost is worth $5.4 million. And then once you can use that $5.4 million, you have exorcised the ghost, and it's gone. History. You had your seance, and the ghost of, Myers Leonard Myers, Coors can, drinking dude, whatever, is gone. It's over. So don't look at that suspension like it's light. It's what the league can do at this point. It's what's been already agreed upon in the collective bargaining agreement for these kind of incidents. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the end-all be-all, because just because the league suspends you doesn't mean that the team can then not release you. You know what I mean? Which is what's going to end up happening. I mean, seriously, dude. What Jewish person wants to even deal with him at this point? Right? I mean, they're disgusted, because they should be. We all should be. Okay? I'm disgusted, and I'm not Jewish. But I have enough Jewish friends to know, come on. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't need to hear that kind of stuff. I already told you. He knew what he was insulting. He knew how to insult. He knew the bitch was the insult, and he knew the K word was the insult. So he loaded up, and he doubled up on it. This whole thing about, I didn't know, and give me a break, dude. Give me an effing break, okay? So there you go. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, because some people are kind of freaking out about the suspension, and it's, it might seem light, but in the end, he's going to pay a heavy price, by the way. He will carry this yesterday when we were talking about it, what did we bring up? Michael Richards. We brought up Mel Gibson, right? We brought up Liam Neeson. You see what I'm saying? And the Mel Gibson stuff happened already years ago now. It's probably over 10 years ago since Mel Gibson had that whole thing. And yet, he's carried that label for 10 years. Okay? All right? There's not anybody of the Jewish religion that is ever not going to look at that dude sideways like they look at Mel forever. That's it. There's anyone that is of the Jewish religion, why would you trust Myers Leonard? Or is it Leonard Myers? I don't know.
You got it right the first time.
Okay, we got it right. There you go. Didn't get confused on that one. So I don't blame them. And those of you that can rise above it, you're pretty big people, man. I got to tell you. Because I'm not Jewish, and I can't rise above it. Because it's just hard for me to comprehend talking about other human beings that way. It's just wrong, dude. Just makes me feel just absolutely dirty. All right, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Don't forget, EJD Construction is a proud sponsor of our station, and they sponsor, obviously, the Miami Dolphins Reports with Omar Kelly. And let me tell you something, folks. A lot of us are hanging out at home a lot, aren't we? We're spending a lot of time at home, and that's why people are improving their homes. You know, they're doing all kinds of things, modernizing the kitchen, doing up the backyard so they can hang out, whether they're putting huts up, whether they're putting actually like entire, I would say, I would call them like dens in the back. I'm seeing the pictures of some of you out there, what you're doing. I've seen you guys put up the drive-in billboards, but they're not as big as the drive-in, but they're pretty damn big for your backyard because people are watching movies in the backyard, all kinds of projects. People are building man caves. Guys that are home a lot more, they never had a man cave. Now they're building a man cave, and guess what they're doing? They're all calling EJD Construction and Eric, and here's the number, save it, 305-433-4843, folks. You want to modernize that kitchen? Telling you, you call EJD Construction. You want to add an addition to the home because that's going to be the new man cave, or that's a new room for the family that is growing. Call EJD Construction, 305-433-4843. Save it on that cell phone, 305-433-4843. Save thousands calling EJDConstruction.com.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong, Deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
Take Onside Radio everywhere you go with the MyTuner Radio app. Download the free app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host. Go to your app store, download MyTuner Radio, and search Onside Radio, South Florida's sports station. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
All righty, welcome back. Kind of smiling right now because may have found a target dog that I could end up adopting. Not a golden retriever, it's a terrier, but terriers are great too. So I don't know. It's hard to find. It's really hard to find to adopt a golden retriever. They're all for sale and they're selling them for like $2,000, and I'm not paying serious money for a dog. I just don't do that. There's lots of them to be adopted, lots of them to be loved, and to me that's more important to find one that needs adoption, needs a new home. So by the way, if anybody out there knows anybody with golden retrievers and they got a golden retriever puppy that I can adopt, obviously willing to pay a fee. But I'm not going crazy and paying the ridiculous amounts of money that people want for golden retrievers. That I can't do that. We already got 4 dogs, man. So we do our part as it is. To add our 5th dog, we gotta be part like the other ones. They gotta be adopted. We had such great luck with adoptions. It's just an absolute treat when you're able to adopt a dog. Anyway, I don't know if you guys saw this. Barry Jackson had a report in the Miami Herald about the Finns being interested in more former Patriots. And he put out a list. Did you see this article at all, Tito, in the Herald?
Yes, I did. I read it this morning, actually.
He has Adam Butler and Dietrich Wise and Lawrence Guy, all defensive linemen, and I get it. He has center David Andrews. Okay, I get it, because Tom, what is it, Karras? What is Karras?
Ted Karras.
Ted Karras, that's it. I was going to say Alex.
Ted Lasso?
I was going to say Alex Karras, but that's like the also former football player, but the actor and all that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you would know.
Yeah.
Crypto,
bro.
And then on that list, tell me if you felt the same way. He had Brian Hoyer on that list.
Yeah, as a potential backup.
I don't want Brian Hoyer anywhere near my football team.
It's just a body. He's a warm body, right?
Yeah, but he's useless, bro.
Oh, no, I'm not doubting that.
I mean, he is beyond useless.
Oh, no, I'm not doubting that. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you about that.
Okay? I mean, I get it. Fitz is, at least, it's way more serviceable. I know Fitz can get you in trouble because he'll take some chances and He's a gunslinger and all that. But Brian Hoyer is a guy that's played scared his entire life and has never been good at this. Brian Hoyer is terrible. I would be really disappointed in the Dolphins if they brought on Brian Hoyer. I got to be honest.
As a backup?
Yes. That's worse than waving the white flag. That's telling me you want no competition, you want no help, you want nothing to be able to count on the bench.
So
that's what I view Brian Hoyer as. Dude, he's better. He's playing for the other team the second he takes the field.
I get what you're saying behind the idea that he's not in any way, shape, or form a competent quarterback.
He's pathetic.
Right. But here's my question: if you're getting to Brian Hoyer, doesn't that mean you have a huge problem on your hands, anyways?
Totally right. I get that, but at least something that can look, dude. I get it. When you get to your backup, more often than not, it's not somebody that's going to bail you out. And to me, to worry about the backup position, it's not the end of the, like the other day when Ethan was talking about it. But to hear Brian, dude, I'd rather have you back there. Okay?
I can get some wins.
Exactly. I think we have a better shot at getting any of our listeners in there as the number 2 than Brian Hoyer. I don't know what anybody sees in Brian Hoyer. Maybe his wife, girlfriend, parents, friends, they like him, great guy. Probably is a really nice guy. But as a quarterback, oh my God, he sucks. Seriously. Brian Hoyer. No. Don't do this to me. Okay? Don't do this to me. No Brian Hoyer.
The way you're reacting about this was the way I reacted about Brock Osweiler.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And
I'm not making fun of you, and I'm not calling you dumb, but I'm just saying that's the same way I thought about it.
And you should. And you should at that point. Brock Osweiler had proven that he wasn't getting it done anymore. You should feel that way. Same thing here. It's like nothing. You're adding absolutely nothing at this point. By the time we were dealing with Brock Osweiler, you already found out what he was. He had plenty of chances already. So, yeah, you should feel that way. Got no problem with that. That's acceptable. Smart. But Brian Hoyer, that's where I got to think that article, Barry's way off. I got to figure that. Okay? I have to figure that. That Barry is way off, that they're not going to bring in Brian Hoyer. And on the flip side, let's thank the Patriots and Bill Belichick, because as smart as he's been over the years, I also love the fact that he's too smart sometimes, and they thought that they could win with Cam. So now they're going to bring Cam back. They had him last year for $1 million. Now they're going to pay him $14 million. Okay. And I get it. You're paying him $14 million so he can play a couple of games, because you'll probably draft somebody and he'll be a bridge. And that's kind of what it's there for. And he was a good soldier last year. He laid on the sword when he screwed up. He was a really good teammate. I really love the way Cam handled himself last year. Doesn't mean I ever think he's ever going to be a passer, because it's kind of my discussion with Teron Davenport yesterday. Athletes will freak you out, and they'll make some passes. And Cam can do that every once in a while. But Cam will never be a great passer, just like I don't believe Lamar will ever be a great passer, and I don't believe Ryan Tannehill will ever be a great passer. But it is what it is. Now, while you're an athlete, or in Ryan's case, you got athleticism, but you also got a monster running game. Those are the things that will keep you afloat. And last year, the Patriots were not dominant with the running game. That's what Cam needed to be serviceable. It is what it is. But I'm glad that they're going to bring back Cam. That's another positive for the Miami Dolphins, because Cam Newton is something that you don't fear at all anymore at this point in time. And we now know that Belichick cannot make him great. They tried last year, and they failed, and they'll fail again. but he'll be a bridge this year. And this year he'll get $14 million to be a bridge. Not bad. All right, let's take a break. Michelle Kaufman will join us on the other side. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. We'll talk a little UM basketball, a little Inter Miami with Michelle next.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com. Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dano, you missed.
And this happens in a lot of food polls, right? When I put out a food discussion and I claim that one thing is better than the other, the people who are the fans of the thing that I don't like as much will always say, oh, you've never had my abuelita's tres leches. Well, no crap. I don't know your grandma. She's never invited me. I hate that argument. It's like, oh, wait, you think tiramisu is better? You've never had my abuelita's homemade tres leches. Well, until she invites me over, bro, how am I supposed to try? You've clearly never been to Florence where they have great tiramisu, so don't give me your crap. You've never had my nonna's tiramisu.
Yeah, I haven't.
And you'll never have it. She's dead.
Oh, God.
You'll never have it.
I really wanted to.
You're SOL. She didn't save the recipe. It died with her.
Oh, no.
Man of the Match with Alex Dano on South Florida's home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Onside Radio continues to grow. To make your life easier, you can now find your favorite sports station by downloading the MyTuner Radio app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host or catch a great Inter Miami CF match. Go to your app store, download MyTuner Radio, and search Onside Radio, the home for the South Florida sports fan.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong, deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The comeback Cats strike again, overcoming a 4-1 deficit to beat the Blue Jackets 5-4. Panthers are 17-5-4 on the season. They are currently tied for second place in the Central Division. They take on Chicago on Saturday. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can catch that game on ESPN+. Miami Heat got the second half of their NBA season started right with a win over the Magic, 111-103. Jimmy Butler picking up where he left off, 27 points and 11 assists. Heat improved to 19-18. They take on the Chicago Bulls tonight in Chicago. Tip-off slated for 9 p.m. And in the NFL, 2 quarterbacks have re-signed with their teams. Tom Brady signed an extension with the Buccaneers to stay with the team through 2022. The deal could potentially open up enough money for the Bucs to retain players like Levante David and Shaq Barrett. And then Tom Brady's former team, the Patriots, re-upped with quarterback Cam Newton. Newton signed a 1-year deal, reportedly close to $14 million, with $6 million worth in incentives. With your Onside Sports Update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more of the Onside Zone with the Big O right here, OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
All right, we promised to go switch gears here. We'll talk a little college basketball, and we'll talk a little Inter Miami. And, of course, Michelle Kaufman does an excellent job for the Miami Herald. You can follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. Good afternoon, Michelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good, very good. All right, first of all, UM obviously had another rough season this year, but, man, their run in the tournament was fun. They got a couple of games in. Unfortunately, they ran out of gas against G-Tech, although we did win because we took the Canes plus 9.5, so we thank the Canes for that. The one thing that I will say about this team, and while I'm not the biggest college basketball fan anymore, Michelle, I got to admit, man, after the 80s and the 90s, what I see now in college basketball, it's just not the same. It's just I get to watch Michael Jordan for 3 years and Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo and, watch Leitner go up against Larry Johnson for 2 straight years, those UNLV teams against Duke. I enjoyed real stars in college basketball. So I got to admit, my love for college basketball has kind of died out a little bit. But watching UM, when I did watch them throughout the year as much as I could, I got to say Isaiah Wong, man, that kid really was super entertaining this year. He was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, see, I have the opposite feeling about college basketball than you do. I like college basketball better than the NBA because every game just matters so much to those kids, and because they're not superstars yet, I like that better. I just love the intensity with which they play. I love how every game, there's rivals that mean something, rivalries, and I don't know. To me, the NBA is just a bunch of individuals moving around from team to team, although college is getting like that too now with the transfer portal. So pretty soon it's going to be the same thing. Everybody's just a free agent and goes wherever they want to go. But as far as the UM team, yeah, they were playing with 6 players and a walk-on, Willie Harrington, much of the end of the season. They really struggled, and they would be winning at halftime, winning with about 10 minutes to go, and then they just didn't have the legs to keep going in some of these games that were very close. They lost a lot of games really close, by 2 points, by 4 points, many of their losses. And Isaiah Wong, absolutely, I voted him for most improved in the ACC voting for the whole league. I thought he was incredibly improved this year from last year. Very consistent. He scored, 20 and 20, and, he averaged 17 points. And then, just as far as guys that are just really good, interesting guys that deserve to be watched, is like Nasir Brooks, the center. I wrote about him. He's a chef. He's a 7-foot chef. He's really into cooking and culinary stuff. And he actually goes into the inner city. He has a program where he goes into the inner city in Overtown and teaches kids how to be short order cooks and how to cook. And it's a special program where they teach kids restaurant skills and kitchen skills. And he goes in there and he's super dedicated to that. He wants to open a restaurant. He wants to open a program for inner city kids to learn how to run restaurants and stuff like that. He's a really interesting guy. And he made all academic ACC. He's the only player from UM who made all academic ACC. So he's a really interesting guy. And here in this tournament, as you saw, he turned it on starting on senior night against Boston College. That's when this team really turned it around. They waited a little bit too long. Senior night, the last night of the season, I was saying to myself, where have these guys been all year? Because it was still the same 6 guys in a walk-on. It sounds like a band or something. 6 guys in a walk-on. But it was 6 guys in a walk-on the final day, and on senior night, they played great, and they left the building in a really good mood. And, they went into the ACC tournament basically just with the mentality of this horrible season is behind us, and let's just move ahead. And we're starting new. We're starting fresh. They always say that. It sounds cliche. The postseason, everybody's 0-0. It's a new slate, whatever. But in this case, it's true. Brand new slate. They went in there with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, a lot of enthusiasm, and they played their best 4 games of basketball, were their last 4 games of the season, without question.
Will Jim Larinaga be back?
Yes, Jim Larinaga will be back. Unless he chooses to retire, which I don't think he is. He has no desire to. Yeah, he'll be back. I mean, he won for 7 years straight. He took he went to 2 Final Fours 2 Sweet 16s over 4 years. What happened with this program started with the FBI investigation. That was 3 years ago. Up until 3 years ago, this program was on the up. They did a 2 Sweet 16s over 4 years. They had really good players who were going into the NBA, Bruce Brown. So there was a lot of promise. And then the FBI investigation came. Even though UM ended up being implicated and nothing happened, the fact that their name was in that was enough for the other programs around the country to recruit against them and tell kids, you don't want to go to UM, they're in the middle of an FBI investigation or whatever. So I think that really hurt them for 2 recruiting cycles, not just 1. I really think 2 recruiting cycles that hurt them. And then the other thing is the injuries, which I did ask Coach L, what is the deal with all these injuries? Like, who is your strength and is there a problem with the strength and conditioning program? Why are so many guys injured? It was last year and this year. This year was even more extreme than last year, but last year also, so many times Coach was saying, we could only practice with 8 guys today. We can only practice with 7 guys today. Why is that? Why are all these guys getting injured? These are young, healthy athletes. Of course, injuries happen, but why are so many of them injured? He insisted that it has nothing to do with the strength and conditioning, that he does the same things in practices that he's always done and all this stuff, and that this year was just freak injuries. They came into the season, if you think about it, they came in with Chris Likes, who was preseason All-ACC, first team point guard. So they were supposed to have presumably, the best point guard or one of the best point guards in the league, and he gets injured in the second game, sprains an ankle, and never plays again the entire season. He was supposed to be one of the top players, in the league. Earl Timberlake came in as one of the top recruits, one of the top 50 recruits in the country, top 30 by many people's standards. He comes in and gets injured and doesn't play most of the season either. Sam Wardenberg was going to be the starting forward, a very good rebounder, good three-point shooter, team leader. He injured his foot in the preseason, had surgery, and never played. So, and then Rodney Miller, who was, again, another center who was supposed to have a very extensive minutes this year. He got injured coming down on a dunk and during warm-ups, I think, or something. And so they had just a rash of injuries, and they basically were playing with 6 guys and a walk-on. And, the fact that they made it to the quarterfinals, they're the first team in ACC history, the first 13 seed ever to make it to the quarterfinals of that tournament. And they did it with 6 guys, and they could have they came very close with Georgia Tech, which is an excellent team, a team that beat them by 27 3 weeks ago, And then yesterday, Miami, with 32 seconds to go, was only down by 2. So, I think they ended the season on a high. This is all the long answer about Coach L. I do remember what your question was. The answer is they ended the season on a high. They reached the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament with 6 players. And, yes, I think Coach L will be back.
You are fantastic. All right, let's switch over to Inter Miami. So what's going on with the Matuidi situation? When is that going to be all cleared up? And I haven't even really gotten into this because I don't understand any of their at least with the NFL, I'm pretty well versed on it. Now I'm not an expert, but I kind of understand a lot of the stuff that goes on and everything else. With the MLS, it's so convoluted and all these lists and everything. there's no way I understand what the hell this salary cap is all about and how different players have different designations. So what's going on with the Matuidi situation?
Well, according to Phil Neville, he says that he's not worried, that the powers that be within the club have assured him that it's going to be resolved within about a week. So he didn't seem like he's very worried about it. He seemed to think that everything is being sorted out, are the words. Basically, I don't know exactly what happened there. Is that in MLS, yes, it's a very complicated salary structure that, nobody except the GMs, I think, really understand. But, the way it is it really started with David Beckham, what they called it the David Beckham rule back then, and then they changed it to be called the DP rule, the designated player rule. So there is a salary cap, but then every team is allowed to have 3 players above the salary cap who are designated players, and that means your elite, high marquee players who make more salary than they can fit in their salary cap. So you're allowed to have up to 3 of those. So they're designated as DPs. And what happened here is that Inter Miami signed Blaise Matuidi, but not as a DP. They signed him with this other thing called TAM, which is, allocated money that the league gives every team a certain amount of allocated money that they can use to get players that are between the regular salary and DP. So it's kind of your next level, your elite light players, okay? But some red flag was raised. When he signed here as a non-DP, there were some eyebrows that were raised because this is a guy who's a World Cup champion, currently the only World Cup champion in MLS. He's coming from Juventus, a very, very big club. This is a big-time player, World Cup champion, coming from Juventus. And how did he not get DP money? That was the question. Why would that guy come here from Juventus for a less than DP salary? So, Inter Miami at the time said they got him, through the machinations of, creative financing, getting him under with TAM money and this and that. Some red flag was raised. Who knows who raised the flag right now? It was probably an opposing team or somebody who has an axe to grind against the club or something. But someone raised a flag about Matuidi that deal maybe was not kosher, that maybe there were some improprieties. Maybe he somehow got money under the table that was not some handout or who knows what. So being investigated is how in the world is he not a DP? And what I think is going to happen, because it has happened in MLS before where MLS has investigated they have a compliance department, and their department has looked into other contracts that maybe somebody raised a flag about, and at the end of it, they tell the team, get compliant. This is not compliant, get compliant. All they would have to do to get compliant probably is to name him a DP, which is what I've heard would happen, is that he would be named a DP, and then now they already have 3 DPs. So another player who is a DP would either have to leave or have their salary lowered or redesignated to be a TAM player. My guess is that someone like Matias Pellegrini, who's a young guy, 20 years old, would, they could reclassify him, quote unquote, in a different category and give Blaise Matuidi the DP category, and I think that would probably solve it.
All right.
It's all very boring. I don't know if anyone listening is
I know.
They've all fallen asleep now, but you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
I had to ask because, most of us don't really know what the hell is going on because we really don't understand these rules. So to me, it's been hard to comment on something when I don't know anything about it. How the hell am I going to comment on it? The other thing I wanted to ask you, what are you hearing about fans? Because now that I'm going to get my second vaccination on the 21st, now that more and more people are getting vaccinated, and I know that the CDC was approached about those passport, like digital passport vaccinations, which I believe we all should have that. So that way we can go to sporting events and travel and movies and whatever, and maybe you just check that everybody's vaccinated when they walk in. What kind of fans? How many fans are they going to allow in the MLS early on? Well,
it's not really MLS. It's really by city. So, MLS doesn't have any specific rule. It's really based on every single individual market, what their protocol is with their local authorities. I know that Jorge Mas said 2 weeks ago that, his goal for the opening game, which is on the 18th against LA Galaxy, by the way, which is very cool. They're going to finally, 13 months later, play their home opener against LA Galaxy. That was supposed to happen last year on March 14th, in 2020, and 2 days before on March 12th, they canceled the season, or they postponed the season. So now they're going to finally, they're going to get to play that game against the LA Galaxy at home on April 18th. And what Jorge Mas said is that he's expecting, this seems a wide range, but 3,000 to 8,000. That's a wide range. But he's thinking somewhere between 3,000 and 8,000 is what he would like to get in there. The stadium seats 19,000. So that's what they're talking about for the opening game. And he's hoping that by summer it can be more than that, and that, maybe by fall they could actually, who knows, if the vaccinations, the numbers go down or whatever, that they'd be able to get closer to a full house, by the final portion of the season. So
that would be awesome.
So we'll see. I mean, that would be a lot of fun. It's a great facility, and it still hasn't really had a chance to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. No, and we'll be rocking because we're going to have like 2 to 4 MLS games here every week with Montreal Impact calling this place home. So for us here at Onside Radio, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of soccer out here on the pitch, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the 17th, right. The 17th is the All-Canadian, it's the Canada Cup. You have Toronto against Montreal opening the season in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there are so many Canadians in Fort Lauderdale and Broward County this time of year. I would think that game would be of great interest to the Canadian fans that are down here, the Snowbirds. They're going to have both Canadian teams play against each other on the 17th. And then on the 18th, the day later, Inter Miami against LA Galaxy. And by the way, I want to say one more thing. On the 20th of March, Inter Miami's first preseason game is against Miami FC.
Yep.
And, I know you have history and stuff. And I spoke to Paul Dalglish the other day, the coach, and it turns out that he's friends with Phil Neville. They go way, way back to, England's last soccer days. They know each other well. They're the same exact age. They're both 44. And Paul Dalglish said, that the relationship between Miami FC and Inter Miami is completely 100% different under the new ownership, under the new leadership, than it was last year, and that they have been extremely supportive and working together as partners, and that he expects that there's going to be a lot of partnerships between, his USL Championship team and the Fort Lauderdale, USL One League and the MLS team, that they can all help each other, support each other, and that he said if he has a player that he wants, that's an MLS player that he wants to play MLS, he will send Phil Neville a text and tell him, I've got a guy here you should see.
Well, I can add to that because Jorge and I have had these conversations, and he's good with me. We're going to end up eventually we're going to do an all local soccer show here where we're going to talk about all the local soccer teams from him or she to Boca to Miami FC to Miami Beach FC. Along with that, Jorge's very supportive of all local soccer teams here. He's very pro sport. He wants the sport to grow. He's not all about just Inter Miami CF. He's been indoctrinated with all these guys in Europe and all that, and he's seen what they do in other parts of the world and how the first and second divisions are, they have their support groups too, and how important it is at all different levels. And so I know Jorge's very, very supportive of all soccer teams locally. So when I told him, hey, I want to do a local soccer show that focuses on all the teams locally, he goes, I love the idea. So he's very supportive about it. He knows it's good for all of us.
Yeah, and Paul said the same thing. He said, this is good for everybody. This is good for Miami FC. It's good for Fort Lauderdale, and it's good for Inter Miami. So expect to see more scrimmages between those teams, maybe even some player, activity between the clubs and whatever. He said that he's very, very happy with Chris Henderson and Phil Neville so far.
There you go. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. Catch her work there at the Miami Herald. Michelle, as always, exceptional segment. Thank you for all the information. You're the best.
All right. Take care. Have a good weekend.
You got it. There you go. The great Michelle Kaufman with the Miami Herald. Let's take a break. We'll come back for the final segment of hour number 1 right here on OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes, it is. Welcome aboard. We thank, of course, Michelle Kaufman for joining us. Hey, don't forget, smash that like button. Smash it, baby. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Don't forget, when you hunger for sports talk, there's only one option. Talk about sports with David Friedman every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Join David every weekend as he takes a different angle to sports. Tune in every Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. for Talk About Sports with David Friedman exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
A Florida sports fan. Welcome to OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, It's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
Cool. And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean?
The Onside Zone.
He's a liar. And there's nothing new about that. He's full of crap. If you're believing that, I got a bridge in the Keys. It's the one on the right side. Just want you to know, when you're going south, you'll see the smaller bridge on the right. I've got that one for sale if you're interested.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's
Quick though, bro.
888-441-4623.
That's the one boy band that I will say, dude, I'll stand up for Boys to Men every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Love those guys. I'm sorry, I gotta be honest with you. I'm just, that's not who I am. You guys know it. I do the show and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I tell you the way things are. That's just the way I am.
You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a Big O.
All right.
To block, Huberdeau hanging on. Huberdeau broken up there by Bjorkstrand. Shovels a backhand up the wall. Here comes Domi into the zone. He's got Riley Nash with him. And Max Domi finds the back of the net. 4-1. On for Holmberg. Across the line, shot from the wing. Turned aside, rebound, score. Lombard able to take the rebound after the initial stop by Merzlikins. It's 4-2. Columbus on a line change. Uyghur looking to walk in. Drops it back. There's a shot and a goal. Tippett from the left circle. 4-3. From the point, Yandel. It goes wide of the net. Hornqvist shovels it to Barkov. 50 seconds left. Barkov. Huberdeau. Huberdeau hanging on. Drops it there for Yandel. One-timer scores a power play goal. And we're all tied up. Sweeps it to the right wing for Vetrano. Vetrano, puck is picked up here by Huberdeau. 2-on-1. Huberdeau moves in. Save, rebound, scores. The Panthers come from a 3-goal third period deficit and win this in overtime.
That's what it is, cojones. Panthers got plenty of that, baby. Holy crap. Got to tell you, man, it is impressive last night to see what they were able to do. That was one of those where you got to tip your hat and you say, okay, the Panthers, they're for real. They're for real, man. I know you've gotten burned in the past, and I know that you've kind of fallen for the banana in the tailpipe and all that good stuff. This team is for real. They keep showing it. They show it against all kinds of teams, except if they're led by Trocheck. But outside of that, they've done a really good job against everybody else. And last night, to come back from that deficit, that was incredibly impressive. And I just got to say that this is going to be a fun season, because this is a team now that is built to actually win in the playoffs. That's the beautiful thing. It looks like they're built to win in the playoffs. When you can have this kind of fight in you, when you never give up, when you can come back, you've led in plenty of games, but then there's been a few of those moments where you didn't play your best, you put yourself in a hole, and you're able to dig out of it. It's impressive. And a lot of love to Bob and the boys yesterday. Bob had 28 saves yesterday. Barkov, Hornqvist, Lomberg, Tippett, Petrano all picked up goals. Saturday, they will host the Panthers. They will host Chicago at the BB&T Center. And then Monday, they play Chicago again at 7 o'clock. The Heat are back in action tonight against Chicago after beating the Magic last night. So a very winnable game with the Magic, who's now 13-24. And then now you've got Chicago and then Orlando again on Sunday. So very winnable games. Now remember, Miami has one of the easier schedules in the second half of the season. So they've got a lot of games where they really should rack up the wins. That's why it was important to get back to 500 for the break, because you didn't want to be in a deficit just to start the break, even though it's an easier schedule than your first half, but you still want to pile on the wins because you want to start climbing in the standings and putting yourself in a position where you can host the first round, maybe the second, who knows. So let's see what happens here, but these are all very winnable games, and these are games you cannot allow them to get by. You've got to win them. So let's see if they can continue their winning ways here over the weekend and get a couple of victories starting tonight against Chicago, at Chicago, by the way. So you got that going on. G-Tech beats UM. We just talked to Michelle Kaufman, who covers the UM basketball team, had to get her thoughts on that. And it's good to know she feels pretty confident that Larinaga, because, see, while Larinaga's under contract, a season like this can wear on you. I think it had a lot to do with why Shane Gailey stepped away. I think he was at a point like, damn, I'm too old for this. I got to do, virtual teaching, and I have to worry about Corona. And he probably said, I don't need this crap. I got to go. And he probably didn't want. And so if Larinaga wanted to retire because it got to be a little too much at this point, it's understandable. Now, do I want him to retire? Hell no. I want him to coach as long as he wants to coach. Because once your heart is not in it, whatever it is, you're not going to be doing your best. So if Larinaga wants to coach 5 more years, then I want him here 5 more years. Because the next coach, I don't know what it's going to be at all. And I know he has the assistant coach, forgetting his name now. Damn it. Is it Chris? Chris Caputo? Is it? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's Caputo. I think it's how it's pronounced. I know he's kind of being groomed as the guy to take over, but I don't know how good he'll be. And Larinaga is damn good, dude. Okay? He probably is the best coach they've ever had. Big O, Hallie says she's the she's saving. I see now where you're putting. Saving the first dance for you. Okay. So Hallie's saving the first dance for me in the Boom Boom Room. That's going to be a good dance. That is the kind of dance we all look forward to. Big O, we're having an old school concert in the Boom Boom Room tonight. Casey and the Sunshine Band, some 2 Live Crew, and some Trick Daddy. Now we're talking. That's a party right there. I love it. Nico says, I missed this chat. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate you. We all miss you. Let's see what we got here. We got John Rouse in the house. He's first in on the chat board today. Ian from Brooklyn. Matt Walker. Lisa Rose is in. Let's see who else we got here. Dennis Akers. Kenneth Cleveland. Who else do I see here? And Nico and Raging Dolphin Maniac is in the house. So we thank all of you out there for chiming in. Again, remember to smash that like button, okay? And subscribe. Pass it on to folks so we get this thing growing again and get this thing going. And for those of you that follow me on the podcast, I will start doing the podcast again as my voice getting better now. But it's probably going to be like once a week on a Saturday, something like that. So those of you out there that follow me on the podcast, I just don't have enough time and I don't have enough voice to do 2 shows a day. That's a little too much. Gotta pace yourself in this life, or if not, you burn yourself out. What else do we have to talk? Oh, Dolphins. They end up signing a South Florida kid to a contract. So it looks like Matt Hawk may not be the punter for long. He is a free agent. So the Dolphins went out and signed a free agent punter. So it looks like we may get somebody new here overall kicking for the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see if that helps out.
End of the Matt Hawk era.
I know.
Right? It's kind of a big deal.
You look at it as a big deal?
I mean, not in the grand scheme, but he was a punter for a good hot minute, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think at least five the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Yeah, and the kid they signed is a South Florida kid that blew out his knee. He blew out his ACL last year, so they end up signing him. And listen, I could still see them actually signing a free agent undrafted punter from the draft, and I think that could be an opportunity also for some competition with because obviously this kid is coming off a knee injury, so you're not exactly sure if he's going to go out there and actually do the job. So I kind of get that you would bring in, at least that's what I would think, you're going to bring in another punter. But Michael Parladé, or Parladé, I think is the way it's pronounced. He was cut by the Panthers last month, and he's born and raised in South Florida. And so he actually visited a couple teams, the Bills and the Dolphins. So he ended up signing with the Dolphins. He didn't play at all last year because he tore his ACL playing basketball in the offseason. Supposedly he's 100% now. Matt Hawk is a free agent. That you do the math, I think that's what's going to end up happening. They need the cap space, so they're not going to go out and give Matt Hawk a new contract because they're going to have to pay him. This kid, Parladé, you don't have to pay. And if you bring in a free agent undrafted punter from the draft, now you got a kid that can come compete with him. So now you got two guys competing for it, and whoever wins will be just happy to make the team and won't be commanding a lot of money. So that's the cool part of it. And hopefully they're as good as Matt Hawk, because Matt Hawk did a nice job too. But again, if you know what you're doing, you can replace these kind of guys. Okay? Now, I'm not big on replacing kickers all the time. I think if you got a good kicker, I think you keep them for a while. But punters, you can replace them. Okay? There's enough punters out there.
It's not going to be important because we're not going to punt ever. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of a punter when you're going to score 50 points a game?
That's true. I overlooked the fact that they can be that productive with the offense that they won't need the punter anymore. So that does make a lot of sense. I didn't take that into account there, Tito. Thank you for enlightening me on that one there.
No punting in 2021. Tua's just going to throw 30 touchdowns. Did I mention we're going to score 50 points a game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just want to clarify.
50 points is you'll be pretty competitive if you can score 50 points a game.
I mean, hey,
somewhat competitive.
Your defense can regress. Is still if you're scoring 50 points a game, you're good.
Jonathan Ledyard, by the way, is set to join us at the top of the hour from the Pewter Report. So we'll talk to Jonathan, all things Bucks with him, and we got some Bucks news. At 2:30, Amin El Hassan will join us to talk a little basketball. Looking forward to having Amin on. Let's see, Raging Dolphin Maniac says that guy could punt the ball into orbit. He was good. You talk about Reggie Roby? Yep. The late Reggie Roby, by the way. We lost Reggie Roby. Remember, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Reggie. Orlando, can Armando Salguero let go of the Tua hate already? Why? What did he write now? Did Armando write another one of those articles about?
So he made a comment about the press conference with Flores that he wasn't able to ask a question, and that he believes that the method in which the Dolphins are doing their press conferences isn't very efficient, but that he wanted to ask a very point blank, can you say with the utmost certainty that Tua Tagovailoa will be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins in the 2021 season? And that way it wouldn't have allowed Flores to kind of
any room to get on.
Yeah, no equivocations, I guess, right? Which, I mean, hey, tough.
Right.
Tough luck. Sucks to suck.
I mean, I don't know why you're so desperate to find.
Yeah.
I mean, everything will be answered in time.
What? And here's
You're gonna find out.
here's my thing though. Oh, if Flores said he's gonna be, and then tomorrow the Dolphins somehow pull off a trade for Deshaun Watson, what happens? What does he gain from that? Oh, I got him. I got the Dolphins. I got Bryant. What? They got a better quarterback if that's the case.
Right.
So what does he gain from answering that question?
I don't know, man.
God.
I just, to me, it's just let it develop, and then you can ask, and you can find out. You know what I mean? It's just like, are you trying to force the issue because you want to get them? And it's not really a lie. It's business. I mean, we actually have an organization now that doesn't want to telegraph what they do. But I guess fans or some in the media want to force them into an issue to try to telegraph. And it's like, okay, so if you're going to, what are you going to do? You're going to be pissed if they don't tell you the truth, or you're going to be happy that they told you the truth and then put themselves in a disadvantage? I don't get it. You know the position the team is in. If they really are interested, they're not supposed to tell you. They're not supposed to act like it, and they're supposed to lie to you. They're supposed to tell you, yeah, unequivocally, he's our quarterback. And then the next day, you trade for Deshaun Watson. Just like Nick Saban said, yes, no, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. And then the following week, he was the Alabama coach. That's what Saban's supposed to do. Lie. What's he supposed to tell you? The truth? Well, you know what, guys? I'm really not happy with this place. Yeah, I've been planning behind the scenes. My agent's been negotiating with Alabama. Yeah, I want to leave. Really? Really? So, I don't know, man. I don't know what the job is, whatever. It's just, but the thing is, what's the end game to all of it? You know what I mean? So what are you going to do? Pick on the team if they lie to you and tell you that Tua's their guy? You understand where I'm going here? Like, they're supposed to do whatever's best for the organization. Not what's best for Onside Radio, for the Miami Herald, for the Sporting News, for ESPN. It's not about that. It's about what's best for the Dolphins. And so if what's best for the Dolphins, if they feel it's smokescreen with Tua, and then they go make a move for Deshaun, well, then that's what it is. And if they want to commit completely to Tua, because that's who they drafted, and that's what the plan is with all these picks to surround the kid with talent, well, then there you go. Time will tell who's the quarterback. Time will tell whoever's the quarterback, are they good enough to get it done? Are they winning or are they losing? But for now, we are talking about a front office and a coaching staff that all they've done is improve the team in the process. They put it in a better position cap-wise. They put it in a better position with draft capital. They put it in a better position with talent. They put it in a better position for the future. So let's just let it develop. That's all. That's what I would say. Big O, the lovely ladies, Holly, Selma, Sophia, Paige, Charlize, and Beyonce, want to know if you're going to MC the concert. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. MC will do everything there. Host, MC, mingle. Of course. Mingle. Lots of mingle.
You ever made a ribeye steak?
Made one?
Yeah, you ever grilled one?
No, but I've eaten one.
I'm grilling a ribeye steak for the first time tonight.
Ooh. Well, why didn't you invite me, you bastard?
Hey, man, I only got one for me.
You suck.
I'm eating this. My girlfriend's not eating it. This is for me.
Selfish bastard.
Yeah.
All he does, so he gets on the mic, he opens it to tease me about a ribeye that I can't have.
I'm asking for assistance.
What an a-hole move is that?
I'm asking for assistance.
Hey,
how to cook
we're
them.
having lobster tonight. Yeah. We're doing lobster up, man. Yeah. Can I go? No?
Hey,
No,
if you
we
make
just
your
got
way to
lobster
Coral
first.
Gables, there you go.
A restaurant in Coral Gables? That
No,
has
no,
ribeye?
I'm making this myself. No, I'm not going to a restaurant in Coral Gables for steak. If I had more steak in Bitcoin, I'd do that.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Are we pushing to 58 yet or what?
Crypto, bro.
Crypto,
bro.
Oh, I love it. We are at 57.5 right now. Halfway to 58. It's going to hit 60 today. Watch. There's going to be a run this afternoon, and it's going to go to 60. You'll see. Let's do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Folks, don't forget, tomorrow starting at 8 a.m., our programming begins here on Onside Radio. And baseball fans, you can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch the show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues every Saturday at 8 a.m. Seamheads now have a new home. Listen to Deep into the Count exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
She's kind of a big deal. Some people like to say it's only because of how she looks. She sticks her tongue out a lot. But there's just something about her that makes people do crazy things, like get tattoos of her face, or wait in line for hours just to say hi. Lil Bub is a 2-year-old cat, an Instagram celebrity with a following bigger than some 90s television stars. And it all started because she was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Lil Bub, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to 2 of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dano, you missed.
So Deshaun Watson has sat down with new Texans head coach David Culley. Did he have his teeth in for the interview, David? He's a little older.
Hold on, let me get my dentures in here, Deshaun. Deshaun, hey, just give me a second. We're eating this pineapple here. It's getting stuck in my dentures.
Was he watching Murder, She Wrote during the meeting?
Deshaun, it's getting a little late here. It's 7 o'clock. I gotta go to bed soon, all right?
Deshaun, it's 4:30. I've got to go to the early bird special.
Deshaun, give me a second. I'm just taking my Metamucil here. If you just give me a second.
I've taken Metamucil before, actually. It works. I'm not even that old.
Man of the Match with Alex Dano, weekdays live on South Florida's home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
By the way, Kenneth in Cleveland says, Big O, we're having ribeyes tonight at the concert, so Tito can't come because he still hasn't seen Smokey and the Bandit. So there you go.
Okay.
So you got your own ribeye, and you will not have ribeye with the girls. So there you go.
Unfortunate.
Willie Molina says, Big F and O. Willie Molina saying, what's up? You just see the difference between old savvy fans and the ones that just hopped in. Welcome aboard, Willie. Drew Boo is in. Josh Ritter is in. He says a competent team's offseason goal with the media, raise the value of the players currently on the roster and downplay the value of players not on the roster. That's it. Maximize your leverage. And I think that's what I love about our Dolphins now, man. I love that I actually root for a team that is competent now, man. And they, do things the right way. And they bamboozle teams now. Somebody was saying, which one of you said, here goes Jean-Luc. He goes, Big O, do you think it's getting to the point that people should not pick up Greer's phone calls? The man is too good at his job. I mean, he is bamboozling people. That move he made this week for a first-round offensive lineman, that's a steal, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, the kid's got some baggage, no doubt about it. But he made a move where he didn't lose a damn thing. He just delayed a 7th-round pick 1 year. Fine. Whatever. So instead of 12, they got 11 picks this year or whatever the hell it is? Fine. They might get more with that number 3 pick if they trade that. It's cool. It's really cool because we were so used to other teams playing this game, and then we would sit back and go, damn, dude, how come the Dolphins can't do stuff like that? Right? It's like Lyle Collins. That happens again. It's not a guarantee that Dallas gets him anymore because Miami will make that kind of move because Chris Greer's not stupid.
I guess the concern for some people on the Isaiah Wilson move is it seemed like Tennessee was literally saying, please take him off.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Right.
Yeah.
So obviously I think all the hosts we've had on have kind of broken down the situation. And, I think the difference in all of that is we are now I think the Dolphins know that they have to surround him with people who can keep his head on straight. Former teammate, Coach Flores went to the same high school as him. I believe Josh Tolentino even mentioned something along the lines of the fact that I think the offensive coordinator or the head coach at the high school he played at is now some position on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Something along the line. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Pauly something.
Yeah. So they're surrounding him with familiar faces, college teammate, and the understanding that he is aware this is your last chance. So, I mean, to me, this seems not nearly as much of a lottery ticket as the Rosen situation was, whereas this seems like, hey, he was in just a completely different headspace in 2020, and he was in a place that he didn't really know about. He couldn't get himself out of trouble. Let's bring him into a situation where we can put him on a path to succeed, and if not, we still retain our 7th-round pick.
No risk.
We burn $4 million.
No risk. The money isn't anything. The picks are actually more worth than the money. You can replace the money. The picks you can't replace. You know what I mean? That's why you got to love it, man. I just think that, but when we look at Chris Greer now, it is a completely different kind of GM that the Dolphins have. It's awesome. It's just awesome to watch how the Dolphins now run everything differently and have put themselves in advantageous positions many times over already in 2 short years under Chris Greer and 3 off seasons. It's crazy, man. It really is. All right, 888-441-4623 if you want to get in on the program. That's 888-441-4623. Happy Friday, Big O. I had a laugh this morning. Mike Florio was saying that the Patriots were a competitive team last year. No wonder why Mike is clueless NFL reporter. He said that? They were competent? Really? They were 6-10. It's just, the problem is we end up drinking the Patriot Kool-Aid and we think that everything will work out. And that's why I was one of the people last year, I don't know if I was in the majority, minority, whatever, but when they signed Cam Newton, I was laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? This is a joke. They're not even going to go 500. And sure enough. Stevie D in Canton, Ohio. Hall of Fame, Stevie D. He's in the house. It's sunny and 70 in northeastern Ohio, and it's Club Friday, baby. There you go. Blast from your past. Thank you, Stevie D. Appreciate you, my man. Dolan and McNair going head-to-head for most racist owner award. Julius 305. I don't know. I think Donald Sterling beats both. Is Donald Sterling the most racist owner that we know of?
History would say yeah.
Right? I would think. So I'll go Donald Sterling as my number one racist owner. Okay? What's that line? Big old Magic Johnson. What's he ever done? That line of his.
Oh, yeah. That was a tough one.
Oh, God. Oh, man, that guy was... Is that guy still alive?
It's a good question.
I mean, not that I really care if he's alive or dead, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. You know, it is what it is.
86, still going.
Yeah. Evil people live forever.
Born in 1934. My God.
You ever notice that? Like, evil people will live for... It's like the drunk driver. The guy's going 95 miles an hour, collides with 3 cars, smashes all of them. Everybody is either dead or in the hospital severely injured. And guess what happens to the drunk driver? He walks away from the accident. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And most of these evil people, they end up living forever, right? And then we constantly lose good people like Pedro Gomez, right? I mean, it's crazy. Sekou Smith, Therese Paylor, the youngest of the 3, right? We lose 3 awesome human beings like that, and meanwhile, Donald Sterling is still living. It's so twisted. Happens all the freaking time, dude. Damn. It's the Billy Joel song, right? Only the good die young. Which I'm sure Tito has, heard over and over and over again, that he knows that song, of course. You know anything about Billy Joel? Would you ever even listen to Billy Joel there, Tito?
Yeah, of course.
You would? All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side for more Tito Benash lies. Sunday Onside Radio continues to provide you the kind of sports talk South Florida fans desire every Sunday at 7 a.m. Tune in to the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m. exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at storycorpsconnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Catch a South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Dano hosts the Man of the Match. Dano covers everything from football to football to MMA. Tune in to one of the most complete sports shows in the country with Man of the Match with Alex Dano from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. every weekday, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Riddle me this. With all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Miami Heat got the second half of the NBA season started correctly. Win over the Magic, 111-103. Jimmy Butler picking up where he left off, scoring 27 points and having 11 assists. Heat improved to 19-18. They take on the Chicago Bulls tonight in Chicago. Tip-off slated for 9 p.m. And the Florida Panthers with a huge comeback from a 4-1 deficit to get the win over the Blue Jackets. Panthers are now 17-5-4 on the season. They take on the Chicago Blackhawks Saturday at 7 p.m. That game is on ESPN+. And it's clear the Dolphins are now moving in a different direction at punter. Reports suggesting that Matt Hack will not be brought back. Elsewhere around the league, 2 quarterbacks have re-signed with their team. Tom Brady, an extension with the Buccaneers through 2022. And also Tom Brady's former team, the Patriots, re-upping with quarterback Cam Newton. Newton's deal is reportedly worth close to $14 million. With your Onside Sports Update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more of the Onside Zone with the Big O right here, OnsideRadio.com.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back. We take you, of course, till 3. The man of the match will take over at that point at 2 o'clock. Jonathan Ledyard is going to join us from the Pewter Report. We'll talk all things Bucks and some draft also with him. He's got a very interesting nugget that we'll talk about that he brought up in the draft. Amin El-Hassan will join us at 2:30. We'll talk all things NBA, a little Heat with Amin El-Hassan. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on around the NBA. Got a bunch of things to talk about here. One is Pat Ewing. So as you all know, Patrick Ewing is the coach at Georgetown. And so they were having the Big East tournament, and Georgetown is playing in the Big East tournament. So Patrick Ewing was, I guess, has to walk around MSG, you know, to go in and out of the building, the locker rooms, on the court, all that stuff. And when you do these kind of things, and those of us that have the pleasure of working in this business and having that kind of access, you do realize that you have to go through many security checks at different levels. Just because you walk into the building the first time doesn't mean that that's the last time they're going to ask you for an ID or check your media badge to see if it's good and all that stuff, right? But when you're Patrick Ewing and you're at Madison Square Garden, you would think that you've got carte blanche. You know what I mean? I'm not Patrick Ewing. Not that I would ever fancy myself with that. But I'll tell you this. When I kind of walk into this building here, I kind of expect them to know who the hell I am already at this point. You know what I mean? Because I've been coming here for months. So you kind of know we're with Onside Radio and all that good stuff. You know, just like Tito, just like Sean. You know, these are guys that have been here from day one with us and building this thing from scratch. And so I would imagine that, you know, you and we're not Patrick Ewing, okay? So I kind of can understand what he's talking about. And so here's Patrick Ewing, because apparently he's getting stopped everywhere at Madison Square Garden, and they need to check his ID.
But I do want to say one thing, though. I thought this was my building, and I feel terrible that I'm getting stopped, accosted, asking for passes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am. And I'm getting stopped. I can't move around this building. Like I was like, what the hell? Is this Madison Square Garden? I'm going to have to call Mr. Dolan and say, geez, is my number in the rafters or what?
Now, we had this conversation. I don't know how long ago it was, Tito. Not sure if you were paying attention at that moment because you're always doing like 8 things back there because our producers do a lot during a show. That's what people don't realize. They work like crazy. But I talked about this, Tito, that those of us that are in the sports world, we think we're front and center and that what we follow and know about, everybody else does. And that's a bunch of crap. We're the minority. And I think the part that is lost on Patrick Ewing, gets lost with some of you, gets lost with some of the media sometimes. We think everybody knows these players and these people, and they don't. And there's a boatload of people that don't follow sports. Way more people don't follow sports than follow sports in our country and in every country. Okay? Those are the facts. More people are going to know about Meghan Markle and Harry's interview than they will anything about the NBA, college basketball, the NFL. Doesn't matter. More people are going to know about that stuff. More people are going to know about Lady Gaga and her dogs and the dog walker and everything than they will about sports. It's just the way it is. So, the part that Patrick Ewing doesn't realize, I understand that everybody should know their names, right? His name especially. Problem is, all those people working security, they're not all sports fans. In fact, most of them aren't sports fans. You know how many security guards I've seen at concerts that they don't give a crap? Dude, that's Michael Jackson on the stage. I don't care. That's Queen. I don't care. That's Van Halen. I don't care. That's Beyonce. I don't care. I see her all the time in the Boom Boom Room. I don't care about that. That's kind of what they're saying. I've seen lots of security people. They just got their what's the earpieces, whatever they're called, to mute out the sound. Whatever the hell they're called. What the hell is that called, man?
I think you got it. Earpiece. Yeah.
They are earpieces.
Or sound or earplugs, I guess.
Earplugs.
Yeah.
That's it, baby.
Oh, okay.
That's it. They got their earplugs and they're just looking out into the crowd to do their job, and they don't care about the performance whatsoever. They don't. They don't care what country star it is. They don't care what rock star it is. They don't care what rap star it is. They don't listen to the music. They don't care. Like, there's no way I could be a security guard at a rock concert because I won't be paying attention to my job. I'll be watching the concert. I'll lose my job right away. I mean, the supervisor will come by a couple times like, aren't you watching the crowd? Oh, yeah, sure. And he's like, oh, I got to get rid of this asshole. Because that's what I would be, because I'm a fan. There's a lot of people working in those arenas. They don't know anything about the Miami Heat. They don't know one of those players. They don't care to know any of the players. They don't care if the Heat win or lose, if the Dolphins, if the Panthers win or lose. There's a lot of people like that. That's what I think as sports fans, we kind of get caught up in that. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what Pat is thinking, but he's really not thinking how life is in general. He's caught up in this thing like, well, I'm in sports and we're the center of the universe and everybody should know, and you're not. Sports is in Pluto, okay? Meghan Markle and Harry are the sun. Okay? Meanwhile, the NBA, college football, college basketball, the NFL, Major League Baseball might be one of those like planets beyond Pluto that they haven't found yet, but they know it's out there. That's kind of one of those things. But seriously, that's just what it is. So I get what Pat Ewing is saying. In theory, it makes sense, but the reality is he doesn't realize that a lot of those people work in the arena, they don't care who you are. They're there to make a couple of bucks so they can provide for themselves and their families. That's what they're there for. They don't care it's Garth Brooks. Nothing. Don't mind. Don't care. I don't listen to Garth Brooks. I don't listen to Beyonce. I don't listen to Iron Maiden. I don't watch the Heat. I don't care about the Knicks. Who gives a rat's ass about the Charlotte Hornets? That's what they're doing, basically. Anyway, noise-canceling headphones. That's also good, too, Matt. But that's kind of a little expensive. Usually just those little rubber plugs, boom, and that's it. Those things cost like 50 cents. New Yorkers wish James Dolan didn't have access to the MSG. You're right about that. Let's see what else. We got to take a break. All right, let's do that. Let's take a break. We got the final segment of hour number 2 going on. You also, don't forget, folks, you can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio, log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
If you missed Inside the Paint with Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman, you missed this.
I like what Indiana did for this reason. Victor Oladipo was sort of acting a little bit like a bitch, right?
Yeah,
He
right.
just was. There
There you
was
go.
always something with him.
Right.
Inside the Paint with Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman every Thursday from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Right here, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong, deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger. He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Scam likely. Don't you love when you get those? Scam likely. Those are always fun. They really inspire you to answer them. I don't even. Do you ever answer a phone anymore, Tito? If it doesn't have a name on it, like you don't have it saved in your cell phone.
Like, so I get a lot of these calls that are people asking for me to sell my property.
Right.
I don't have property, and they always ask for the same guy, and I'm not that person. And so, like, I don't know why I keep just like answering as if I think it's anything different, but. Yeah, I get a lot of those calls.
Scam likely. Yeah, it's some crap. As always, they want to sell you. What can I tell you? That is just Nuts. Hour number 3 is coming up. Jonathan Ledyard is going to join us on the other side from the Pewter Report. We'll get his thoughts on a couple things going on with the Bucks and free agency, and obviously Brady looks like he's got a new deal in place. They're going to tag Chris Godwin. No, they're going to Godwin gets tagged, right? Godwin and Robinson got tagged. It's Galladay that didn't get tagged, so which makes sense. Antonio Brown, are they going to bring him back? So we'll talk a little bit about that. Did you see the Gronk joke on Brady yesterday?
I did not.
He pulled out the phone and then called Brady and then said, "Hey, can I call you back?" And I kind of tricked Brady that he called him and all that stuff. And typical Gronk having a little fun. He just looks like a fun guy, man. I gotta say, he just looks like the kind of guy you want to hang out with, have a beer, BS around. That's the impression I get from Gronk, man. I hope it always stays that way, man. It's because it's like the Myers-Leonard thing, or is it Leonard Myers? Anyway, so he was very likable, like super likable, fun on social media, fun during the pandemic bubble and all that stuff. He's a gamer, so you figure, okay, this guy's pretty cool. And then this happens, and then that kind of changes the perception of him for the rest of your life. You never look at him the same again. It's what I told you before. You never look at Mel Gibson the same again. Never will. Michael Richards, you'll never look at him the same way again. You can never get that image, those words out of your mind. And just like Myers-Leonard, or is it Leonard Myers? It's all on video. It's captured in that moment. So you see the hate from Mel Gibson. You see the hate from Michael Richards. You see the hate from and so it changes your perception, of who they are for the rest of your life. You could give me all the BS you want. Well, no, I forgive them. In the back of your mind, it's still there, man. It's always going to be there. How can it not be? Right? So that's the one thing that I hope it never. I don't mind the meathead stuff. I don't mind the goofiness. I don't mind him having some fun. I just hope that's him, because there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? It looks like he loves football, loves to have some fun, plays the game really well, headed for the Hall of Fame. If that's who he is, good for him, man. But I don't want to see him ever involved in any of those kind of things, because then it kills everything that you thought about from Fun Gronk. All right. Hour number 3 is coming up. We got 2 guests for you. Jonathan Ledyard at 2 o'clock from the Pewter Report. We'll talk a little draft, a little Bucks with him and Brady at 2:30. Amin El Hassan is going to join us. We'll talk a little basketball with him. I still got a couple of other things that I also want to talk about here on the show. When we have Jonathan on, he brought up something really interesting on social media, and it kind of exploded. We're going to talk about this when we bring him on. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you want to listen to this, because the stuff that blew up for him on social media might be a person that could be tied to the Dolphins. So we will talk to him on the other side. We do want to remind you that Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day, 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day, 10 a.m. to noon, baby. KCC takes over. Kai Chen Chisholm, Kai's Corner, on the home for South Florida Sports Talk, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey It's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwork here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnsideRadio.com.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
Cool. And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean?
The Onside Zone.
He's a liar. And there's nothing new about that. He's full of crap. If you're believing that, I got a bridge in the Keys. It's the one on the right side. Just want you to know, when you're going south, you'll see the smaller bridge on the right. I've got that one for sale if you're interested.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
That's the one boy band that I will say, dude, I'll stand up for Boys to Men every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Love those guys. I'm sorry, I gotta be honest with you. I'm just, that's not who I am. You guys know it. I do the show and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I tell you the way things are. That's just the way I am.
You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a Big O.
All right. Hour number 3 is on. All right, let's go over to the left coast. Let's visit the champs. The Bucks won it all. And Jonathan Ledyard was right there covering it all for the Pewter Report. You can follow him on Twitter at Ledyard NFL Draft. Jonathan, good afternoon, my man. Thank you for taking some time.
Thank you very much for having me. I don't think anyone's ever called me Jonathan before on a radio show. They usually just go John, so
all right.
I appreciate it. So, it reminds me of my mom a little bit.
So do I go with John? Do I go with Jonathan? I mean,
I think either one works. It's all deadly.
Okay, all right. So Jonathan, you made some noise on social media before I ask you anything about the Bucks. I found it interesting, your Kadarius Toney tweet and post out there, and because he's got a rap career, so apparently some in the NFL are worried about that he may like his music more than football. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I posted was just like the reality that it's out there. You know, I didn't necessarily have a take on it. My take on it is, though, really that we just need to be careful. I'm not saying that there's never the case where like a player's other interests don't supersede their football interests, but we have to be careful, I think, and even as scouts and teams, you have to be careful when you act like a whole player's life should revolve around the sport that they play or the job that they hold. Well, I'm passionate about other things outside of my work, but I still put a lot of time into my work, and I think I do a pretty decent job at it. So I think that's kind of like the perspective. Like, we need to make sure we're not glorifying football to the degree, as much as I love it, we need to make sure we're not glorifying it to the degree that we're taking away from the individuals and the humans, that enjoy other things and put time and energy into other things. Can they do that without being questioned, whether they love football enough? Or is it really a case where, he really doesn't take time for football and his work ethic surrounding football is not good enough, which is really a different story to me than having interest somewhere else. It's just that it's not about liking something else. It's really just about that you don't like football as much as you need to be good at it in the NFL. And so, that to me is a valid point, but I really think we should stay away from as much as we can, just looking at the fact that they've been successful in another arena of life and using that to kind of degrade or speak negatively about their chances in the NFL. And that could go for a lot of walks of life, but as it relates to football, I think we just need to be really careful about that part.
You mean like Dane Lillard?
Yeah, like Dame Lillard, right? He has this.
You mean like Shaquille?
Amazing,
You mean like early Shaquille O'Neal? What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? Can you
Yeah.
rock? Well, what's up, Doc?
Exactly right.
You mean
Yeah.
like Serena Williams, who has several things? That silliness came up a few years ago with Serena too. Oh, she's going to keep her mind off the well, she only became the most dominant tennis player in history while having other interests. And I'm with you, dude. I've been doing radio here in South Florida for 31 years, man. I've been grinding for 31 years. And guess what I've also done during that time? Probably go to about 40 to 70 concerts a year. Because I love music and I travel for it or I see it locally or whatever, unless this last year, of course, because of the pandemic. But outside of that, music is one of my loves. It's kind of my hobby. It's kind of the thing that, helps keep me going. But radio doesn't ever stop. I love radio. I always do. I always do work. So to me, I hate to almost paint people with the same brush, but it makes it sound just flat out old. To think that, that people are all about one thing in their lives. The bottom line is I actually think it's a good thing to have a couple of different interests outside of whatever profession you have so you kind of avoid the burnout in a way. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, psychology has literally shown us that it's healthier for people to be able to have hobbies and to be able to unwind and step away. And as someone personally speaking, just being raw and honest, like who has struggled with workaholic tendencies in the past, I think being able to find that balance and find other things and get away from the work has made me better and more productive at the work when I'm at it. And that's also what psychology and studies have shown us over the years too. So again, we're talking about it in relation to football, and I think culturally with football, there are issues at times that basically say this has to be your life. If you're about this, like it has to be your life. If you're a nurse or if you do other, then okay, you can do other things. But when you're football, like you have to like watch tape when you're not around. You have to, everything has to be football. And I don't think that that's true. And I think we have. I mean, look at Tom Brady, the greatest football player probably of all time. He runs he has an entire business, an entire company in TB12, and it's been incredibly successful and has obviously a huge passion of his and something that's helped prolong his career, but it hasn't taken away from the fact that still he's a dominant football player. And, so we just don't need to do that part of it with everybody. Now, if he has work ethic concerns as it relates to football, that's a different question. If you had, work ethic concerns as it relates to radio, it wouldn't matter how much you like music. It just mattered that you weren't doing it with the radio stuff. You know what I mean? That's where people have to think with Kadarius. Like, is it a different issue, or is it just like you see he loves music? Oh, I wonder. He loves music. I wonder if he'll also love football. Well, that's not fair. If there's no work ethic concerns with football, that's not a fair assumption to make, and that's where we got to be careful.
Yeah, Bernie Williams, dude, huge musician all throughout his career, and then obviously continued the career as a musician post-baseball, but he always had a love for music and was always doing that on the side too. So, yeah, you know what it is, really, Jonathan? It's all about if you can compartmentalize in life, where you can separate one from the other and you understand the responsibilities of one from the other, just like when you're a husband or a father or you've got to go to work. Those are three different things that you've got to compartmentalize in your life. At moments, you're a father. At moments, you're a husband. And at moments, you're a provider, bro. And those are three different jobs that you've got to balance in life. So I'm with you. And by the way, I'm a huge Kadarius Toney fan. I love that kid. I got to tell you, Jonathan, I love that kid. Dolphins need some speed, man. And I got to tell you, he would look good in a Dolphins uniform. He would definitely help two out. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, I think he's a player that if you can get the ball in his hands, good things typically happen. And so, again, I think he's a guy that you might have to find a real path for him at first, at least. Wow, how are we going to get him the ball? Are we going to scheme things for him? He might need some development as a route runner in certain areas. But, guys with skill sets like his and athleticism like his don't come around every single year. And I think that, finding ways to utilize somebody if you get him in a place that has a good plan for him, which, by the way, all NFL teams should have for all players that they draft, I think that's going to be really important to maximizing what he is at the next level.
All right, so talk to us about TB12 getting the extension. And I would imagine after you win a Super Bowl, you go, okay, this is working. This is good. All right, let's extend. Let's help out. And you know what? He came from a background where he constantly adjusted his salary and took bonuses and opened things up for his team. So this is actually nothing new to him.
Yeah, nothing new to him. I think it's been kind of expected that this would happen. It was really just a matter of time, and then how much cap space would it open up, because you obviously are going to need it, with Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh and Rob Gronkowski at least to come back, and hopefully kicker Ryan Suckup, wide receiver Antonio Brown to come back as well. You're talking about at least, 4 or 5 guys probably that you're trying to get back, and then you have your rookie class to sign. And so the Bucs are going to have to open up probably a little bit more space, but they have enough now. Brady, $19 million cleared in cap space for this year, so they were about 5 over, so now it puts them at about 14 under the cap. Shaq Barrett's contract might be $19-20 a year, $20 million a year, but it's the cap hit in year one is obviously, I'm sure, going to be lower than the other years based on where they're at the cap this year. And it's always important to remember with the Bucs, the cap is tight this year as it is for everybody. They're trying to get everybody in a year like this, but for next year and the year behind that, 2023. The Bucs have as much cap space as really any team in the league right now. They're projected to have a ton of space in those years. So they have a ton of ability to move a lot of Shaq Barrett's money into year 2 and year 3 and pay it out then, which allows them a lot of flexibility with how they structure it. So they can offer them a big deal, and they just might not pay out a ton in year 1, but it'll be guaranteed for years 2 and 3 at a lot of money. So that's where I say they have the ability to be creative with contracts and still be able to get everybody back.
Now, let me ask you something, Jonathan. Isn't it imperative for them to get a deal for Chris Godwin? I know they tagged him, but as you and I know, that's hard cap numbers. So they probably don't want that in the end. And I know they've got till July to kind of work that out. How imperative is it for them to have a Godwin deal in place?
I think it's very important if they want to keep him around long term. I don't think they have to do it before they re-sign everybody. My guess is you'll see other methods like an Ali Marpet restructure, a Ryan Jensen extension and spread out his cap hit, perhaps a longer extension for a Donovan Smith or a Carlton Davis who are coming off their best years in the NFL. You could see something like that. You could see Cameron Braid, who's $6.5 million against the cap. He's definitely going to have to take another pay cut this year. He may be cut outright. With O.J. Howard coming back and hopefully Gronk coming back, you're not willing to pay a lot of money for a third tight end. So Cam Braid seems like an obvious cut. Will Golston could get pay cut last year of his deal. No dead cap. He could get cut or get pay cut. And so there are lots of methods to creating more cap space for the Bucs. Like I said, they have a lot of flexibility. So they haven't pushed hardly any money down the line yet. So they have the flexibility to start doing that a little bit without getting to the point that the Saints and the Eagles and the Steelers, for example, are at right now. And as for Godwin, he is kind of in the rare situation where a player might actually want to play on the tag. The cap as a whole is down this year. There's all these wide receivers in free agency. There's all these wide receivers in the draft for the 3rd straight year. And so he might look at it and say, man, the recent wide receiver market is just so hot. And I think with another year, if I stay healthy, he had 840 yards and whatever many catches this year and 7 touchdowns. And he played like less than 12 games. Because he got hurt in a couple of the games, so he didn't even play the whole games. So he really wasn't even playing that much, and he's putting up big numbers. When he was in the offense, he was the volume guy. He was he was the main guy. Now Evans makes the big plays, a lot more of the big plays, but Godwin is the volume guy. He's the guy. If he plays for a full season, stays healthy with Brady, he could easily get to 100 catches, 100+ catches, 1,300, 1,400 yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns. He could be looking at a situation where he could reset the wide receiver market next year. If the cap goes up to like 210, takes a huge jump. And maybe it's not that big of a jump, but if it takes a huge jump with the new TV deals, he could really be set up to make bank. And so if he's thinking about it that way, that could be in the cards for him. It could be a reason that makes him more willing to play on the tag than in other years. And it could also mean for the Bucs, it's a little bit harder to find an extension, or a new contract with him that's what he wants and really not too lucrative for the team either.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ledyard NFL Draft. Catch his work there at the Pewter Report. Jonathan, you kind of threw me off here. You said that AB would be coming back, and I would figure that he would want to try to go find money somewhere else. maybe the grass isn't that green outside of Tampa Bay. So maybe he's coming back, but I'm a little surprised there. So are they going to have to pay for him, or is he also, or are they going to get a little bit of a break here and get another bargain again with AB?
I don't know that he will be back. I guess what I mean to say is that I think that there's a good chance the Bucs will at least offer him. You know, I don't know whether he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the one of the concerns with AB, I mean, obviously the concerns are off the field, right? And his next court date isn't until December. And so you have a large window in which you need to trust this guy in. And you have a full offseason between now and the next time he's back in the facility. So it's not quite the same as signing him at midseason and you know you're going to have him in the office every day. You know, you're not getting that right now from him. And so it's a little bit scarier. Also, you're in the offseason. So if you're going to re-sign him, you might want some guaranteed money, and you might not want to give him guaranteed money. And Seattle might want to give him guaranteed money and make Russell Wilson a little bit happier, which has been a problem there recently. So there's obstacles. You know, they're up against some obstacles, I think, right now with that. But reality is Tom Brady, Super Bowl window, and Antonio Brown's 33. We got to remember that, too. I mean, how many more years does this guy want to play? You know, he's made a ton of money. Does he really, you know, is money really a top priority for him right now, or does he want to win? And even if it is a top priority, how much of a difference is it? You know, I mean, I think the Bucs will give him like a $1 to $2-3 million a year with escalators and incentives, maybe up to $5 million if he does certain things. You know, that's the kind of deal I think you're looking at with Antonio Brown. I think they'll offer. I think there's a good chance he accepts. There's also a good chance that the team like Seattle only takes one team, you know, comes in and says, hey, we'll give you 2 years, we'll guarantee you $3 million, and you can come back for 6 overall. And if you're good the second year, you get all your money. And so you get, a couple million more of that. So there's a chance something like that happens with Antonio Brown too, and he leaves. So you have to balance all of that. But I mean, I think it's without question if he comes back, the Bucs again have the best receiving core in the league. Even without him, they have a really good receiving core. But if he comes back, I think it's, this is a team that knows how to use him. I think after the end of last season, they figured out how to use him best. And I think he could be set for a big year, too.
Yeah, Jonathan, you've got me a little confused here because when it comes to money in AB, but you might be right here, so let me give you the both sides of it. He's definitely got to need the money because look at all the legal issues, all the sues, so I would imagine he needs the money. But then again, Jonathan, I got to back you up on this. Maybe you're right, he doesn't need the money because he doesn't pay anybody. So that also might be, he might still have his money because he doesn't pay anybody. So who knows with AB, my brother? How do we figure that one out?
Yeah.
I got to say.
Hard to figure out, yeah.
Yeah, it is impressive that you can win the Super Bowl. And you know how it is, Jonathan, in this league.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times everybody wants to get paid, and then you've got to break up the band. And we saw that the Seahawks had a chance to build a dynasty. And after that second trip to the Super Bowl that they almost won, that band got broken up. The Ravens a few years back, everybody got paid, everybody left. It's got to be pretty cool for fans down there to see that most of that team has a real chance of coming back to defend that title. That is super cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But like you said, it's really about what you do with them once you get what kind of culture you have in place. I think the quarterback obviously helps, and the Bucs know they got a good one. But how long can Brady sustain it? If Brady can sustain level of play from last year, there's a very good chance the Bucs win the Super Bowl, one or both of the next 2 years, to be honest. They have a great roster. They had a great roster the year before. They won 7-9 and missed the playoffs. If they had received even competent quarterback play in the 2019 season, they would have been a playoff team. I don't know if they would have won the Super Bowl, but they would have been a playoff team. With great quarterback play last season, they won the Super Bowl. That's really was the biggest difference. Obviously, guys matured. They added some pieces like Gronk and AB, but none of those guys were like the headliners for the season. It was Mike Evans, and it was Devin White, it was Levante David, and Carlton Davis, all these guys that were drafted and developed in Tampa Bay. And, again, they drafted better than any other team in the league for a couple of years going into last year. And so it was really about finding the quarterback. Now, if Brady can stay at that level, and they can stay healthy, obviously, I think this is the kind of locker room and culture and team that really could have gone to run. Now, Philly kept everybody after they won their Super Bowl, and people thought they'd be a dynasty, and they just went completely downhill. Two things were a big problem. They spent all that money and signed people long term, like the Bucs are trying to, but they did it with the wrong people. They did it with guys like Alshon Jeffrey and guys that weren't going to be sustainable for a long time in terms of their level of play. They also lost the quarterback. Whether Carson Wentz fell off or the coaching relationships fell apart, those are the kind of the hurdles. You're not going to get the second one with Brady from an in locker room standpoint. Physically, maybe he falls off at some point. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work, but it certainly didn't happen last season. And so, you just kind of white knuckle and hope that continues to go. But as long as he continues to not fall off, the Bucs are going to be in a Super Bowl contending window for the next 2 years.
All right, so let me ask you, we'll wrap it up with this. Jonathan Ledyard from the Pewter Report. Follow him on Twitter at Ledyard NFL Draft. In the draft, since they know they're going to have Brady for another year or two, does it behoove them to take a quarterback here? This is such a deep class. If a Trey Lance falls to the back end of the first round, does Tampa take a guy like that they can groom for a couple years under Brady?
It's just not going to happen. I mean, Trey Lance he's going to go in the top 10, top 20. I mean,
all right, Kyle Trask. All right, Kyle Trask.
Right. I mean, to me, if Kyle Trask is there, which I think he will be, there's just not enough upside. Again, at 32, I just know percentage-wise your chances of getting a quarterback, especially in this draft when you're going to have probably 5 quarterbacks go in the top 15, 16 picks, it's just going to be hard. I mean, I don't hate the idea of drafting a quarterback for the future, but when Brady's going to be around this year and next year, and you're probably getting, at best, the 6th best quarterback in a draft, generally speaking, I don't think it's a good process to go in looking at quarterback as a top need. And Jason White was on our podcast, Pewter Report podcast. He was on a couple weeks ago, and he kind of said the same thing. He's like, well, we're not ruling out quarterback, but we're at 32, and a lot are going to go high, and we still think Brady's playing at a really high level. And so he didn't say it, but he kind of implied, this quarterback probably won't be the direction for this team this year. But next year, yes, and that's something they got to think about this year. Next year, you want to go down that road? They might, and they might be in a little bit, if they're picking at 32 again, it's tough, but not impossible. So one of the things they have to think about is this year is there opportunities for us to move back and stockpile 2022 picks so that we could jump up. So it's about being forward thinking in that way. Next year's quarterback class right now doesn't look very good. That can change. We know that from watching Joe Burrow and other guys, Zach Wilson this year. We know that can change quickly. So we'll see kind of how it all shakes out. I would be very surprised if they took a quarterback at 32 or even really in the first 2 rounds this year. Maybe in the mid-rounds or late rounds as a flyer. If there's a guy they like developmentally, they take a chance because they have the roster flexibility to do it. But wouldn't surprise me at all if they didn't draft a quarterback at all this year and then went into next year really thinking about the position, and the year after that probably prioritizing it.
There you go. Good stuff. Jonathan, thank you for taking some time, my brother. Great insight. Enjoy the ride, baby. It's fun up there.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. There you go. Jonathan Ledyard, man. Good stuff. Let's take a quick break. Amino Hassan will join us in the 3rd segment. We'll come back on the other side, and I'll tell you about something that is a little off the wall, even in the NFL.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong. Deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
The things that men will do to their junk blows me away.
It's
like
idiotic.
People will Prince Albert's just.
I don't know it.
A Prince Albert? You don't know what a Prince Albert is? Prince Albert is when you have them pierce your manhood through like the like a giant steel rod. On that note.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Hi, kids. It's Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? That's what it reminds me of. All right, welcome back. We take you till 3. Alex Donna will then take over and dominate the airwaves till 6. And then, of course, it is Michael Christian. He will take over from 6 to 7. Speaking of Michael Christian, it's pretty cool. We're adding a new feature to our station. For those of you that are gamers, you know that we're gamer friendly on this station. You know, we're a different kind. We're like a real sports station because we talk about all sports. We have shows about all kinds of sports. And then we've also added esports to this station. Michael, obviously, at night talks a lot of gaming along with sports. Toast is a guy that does a lot of gaming himself. I think every day at 4:20, I think he's on Twitch on his channel doing his stuff. Kai, who obviously Kai's Corner. KCC does a lot of gaming too. So all three of them have teamed up. And for you gamers out there, we're going to give you an E-Minute every day now. And so you're going to have an opportunity to find out the latest gaming news. So the E-Minute will run throughout the day and on weekends too. So for those of you that are gamers, you've got several shows that are gamer friendly. Look, I'm gamer friendly. I just don't know jack about gaming. My games are just old. So that's the difference. That's all. I'm a gamer friendly guy, but I'm Moon Patrol and Q*bert and Space Invaders and Tron and Donkey Kong and I'm sorry, I'm a classic gamer. That's what I like to do. I like to go to Odyssey over in Kendall and play. Ooh, I'm looking for. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, Tito, when I get my second vaccine shot on the 21st, I'll wait a couple days, I guess. But I think I'm going to go over to Odyssey and go play. You know what I'm also going to do, Tito? I'm going to get a haircut for the first time.
Hey, there you go.
I haven't had a haircut for over a year. I've cut my own hair. It's what I've done so far. Trim the sides, trim the extras. I haven't trimmed the back yet. That's the only thing I haven't trimmed. The bangs. I just like cut them down and then just go right across the forehead. But I mean, I have not gone to the barber in over a year, so we'll be able to do that very soon, which I'm looking forward to that. John Kitna made a revelation. He was on the Ryan Russillo podcast, and John Kitna had a very interesting admission. He spoke about a wide receiver he played with who was able to rack up 200 yards while completely drunk. He goes, there was a time I played a game with a guy that was drunk in the huddle. He was drunk and close to 200 yards receiving now. So it was crazy. That was kind of his normal. So now people have retweeted it, and they're all trying to find out who that is, right? And so a lot of people are thinking that it's Chad Johnson, okay? Now, I don't know if this has gone out to the point that, Chad has found out about this and if he's commented on it, because I've been on the air here for several hours, so I don't know. But at least as of this morning, I didn't see Chad, talk about it. But people are wondering, okay, so who was the wide receiver? Because Kitna played for the Bengals between 2001 and 2005. So a lot of people are wondering, is it Kitna, Hushmanzada? They're going with all kinds of different names, and again, none of us really know until he admits it or says it, until Kitna says who it is. Or if Chad Johnson comes out and says, yeah, I did that or I didn't do that. But I got to say that during his run with the Bengals, you got to be pretty damn talented to get almost 200 yards in an NFL game. And to do it drunk, then you've got to be pretty special. Okay? I mean, I'm not condoning it. I'm not impressed by it. Actually, that's a lie. It is kind of impressive. I'm sorry. It is kind of impressive to get that. What is the music I'm hearing in my ears? I'm like hearing the music that you had at Rejoiner? Okay, there we go. Still there. I could hear it in the background. I kept talking.
That's crazy. It was super low.
I'm like, what the hell is this? I keep hearing the music in the background. I'm going, am I in an elevator while I'm talking, or what the hell is going on? But anyway, it's still impressive. I do have to say that. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you. I don't condone it. I'm going to tell you should do anything drunk like that and whatever. But you would figure that the one dude he played with that had the skill set to be drunk and get nearly 200 yards, it would be Chad Johnson. So what if I told you, Tito, do you think it's Chad Johnson that did it?
Nah. I don't think so.
Who's the other guy during
TJ Husmanzada?
Between 2001 and 2005 for the Bengals.
Yeah, that's where he was around then.
Right now they can only think of Darnay Scott, Chad Johnson, and TJ Husmanzada. That's it.
I mean, it could be that. I don't know. I mean, it could be Ocho Cinco.
During his time, during Kitna's time, okay, only 5 receivers had those kind of yards. Chad Johnson, 161. Husmanzada, 171. Chad Johnson, 189. Chad Johnson, 152. And Darnay Scott, 152. Okay? So 3 out of the 5 were Chad Johnson. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, we won't open the lines anyway. So, but the text line 844-416-8123. We got an interview coming up next. Amin El Hassan. We talk a little basketball with him next.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to 2 of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit more2adhd.com for additional information. That's more2adhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
What?
Blatantly
So they'd be
obvious.
like Sauron.
You are not. No, you're not. You're not jumping to Hobbit. You are not jumping to Lord of the Rings.
Why?
No, because you're not. You're not jumping from Marvel to Lord of the Rings.
There aren't any Marvel movies that even touch Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm serious, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch. Yeah, you're right. Iron Man isn't better than a 19-hour-long 3-part Hobbit.
So Iron Man is your favorite Marvel one?
No, I just threw it out there. There's 23 of them or 26 of them for crying out loud. Thor Ragnarok. Watch that one.
I thought they're all Thor
Oh my God.
Ragnarok.
No, Thor Ragnarok is an actual Thor movie. It's the 3rd Thor movie. I hate you.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Big comeback win for the Florida Panthers yesterday, coming back from a 4-1 deficit to beat the Blue Jackets 5-4. Panthers now 17-5-4 on the season. They take on Chicago Saturday at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. Miami Heat got the second half of their NBA season started off on the right foot with a win over the Orlando Magic, 111-103. Jimmy Butler picking up where he left off, scoring 27 points and 11 assists. Heat improved to 19-18. They take on the Chicago Bulls tonight at 9 p.m. And heading to the NFL, 2 quarterbacks have re-signed with their teams. Tom Brady has signed an extension with the Buccaneers to stay with the team through 2022. The deal could potentially open up enough money for the Bucs to retain key players like Levante David and Shaq Barrett. And then to Brady's former team, the Patriots, re-upping their deal with quarterback Cam Newton. Newton signed a 1-year deal reportedly worth close to $14 million. With your Onside Sports update, I'm Tito Bonacci. Coming up next, it's more of the Onside Zone with the Big O right here, OnsideRadio.com.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Alrighty, welcome back. I promised you we're going to switch gears here, talk a little basketball. We love talking basketball with Amin El Hassan and, of course, with Dan Lebitard and Stu Gotts. You can catch him there. You can follow him on Twitter like I and many others do at Darth Amin. Amin, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
How's it going? I am outdoors. It is a little noisy, so bear with me, but I'm going to work the mute button to the best of my ability.
It's a beautiful thing. Don't worry about it. We love you either way, my man. We thank you for taking some time. Now, let me ask you something. Do you feel like this Nets situation has gone a little smoother than expected? Because maybe there's more drama down the line, but putting these three together, I kind of expected more drama, especially with Kyrie. But last night, he was in a groove, baby, knocking out his former team with 40 points. Is it going smoother than you expected?
Yeah, I also wondered how they could make three guys like that who need the ball in their hands coexist easily. And it turns out the way you do it is have one of them not play. It's like if you got 2 out of 3, then they're always fine. We'll see when they have to play 3 of them at the same time in the playoffs against good teams, against teams that are game planning against that, how easy it will be for everyone to sacrifice. But the sacrifices look easy because they haven't had to sacrifice that much, because most of the time one of them has been out, whether it was Kyrie at the beginning with his sabbatical or Durant now with the hamstring.
Yeah, I think it's been impressive. All right, PJ Tucker, obviously down here in Miami, we keep talking about some kind of a trade, something to add. Not that they're going to go to the finals or anything like that, but just to add, PJ Tucker's been one of those guys mentioned. It looks like they've agreed to part ways. Where's he headed?
That's a good question. I think there's going to be no shortage of destinations that are interested in him. He's got a really reasonable contract that expires at the end of the year. Obviously, we know what he does as a defensive player, a small ball 4. And he hasn't shot the ball well or much this year, but I think a lot of that has to do with where he's been. So Miami will be interested. I have to assume the Nets will be interested because he does the things that they actually need. I think the Suns will be interested. The Jazz, the Blazers. I mean, there's no shortage of teams, I think, that'll be calling for his services.
Are our boys here in South Florida turning things around right now?
Yeah, it's a wonder what happens when you just get healthy, right? As I was saying this when they were, 14th or 13th in the East. I said, yeah, they've been hurt. They've been hurt this whole time. I mean, it's not fair to expect a team that's missing its first, second, third, and fourth best players to remain competitive. But now that they're healthy, you see the wins racking up, and I think you'll see the Heat continue to move upwards. They'll probably end up with the 4th best record when it's all said and done.
Let me ask you something. When you look at what's going on in Phoenix, right, and we talk about a guy that has had plenty of injuries, but and obviously we know that he's a hell of a leader and everything that he's always done. Some people say he's hard to get along with. All of these things, right? But when you look at that turnaround, well, the Suns were kind of turning things around last year. But the addition of Chris Paul, is Chris Paul working on an MVP this year?
I mean, I think he'll be considered, but, if you're asking me, does he have a stronger case than Joel Embiid? Probably not, given how dominant Embiid has been top to bottom, and they've got the 1 seed in the East. Does he have a stronger case than maybe Damian Lillard? Probably not, when you consider how hurt the Blazers have been and how he's been able to keep them afloat. Does he have a stronger case than LeBron James? Probably not, who's had a great year despite Anthony Davis being hurt as long as he has. So I think he has an argument. There's an argument, but I don't think he'll walk away with the MVP.
I mean, but God, man, that's a young. I mean, young is really hard in this league, and he did a great job with the young guys at OKC actually last year. To be honest, it just seems like maybe there might be some contenders that might be kicking their asses right now, maybe including Miami, that they didn't find a way to acquire this guy because of the way he really elevates everybody around him.
Well, I think Phoenix needed that, though. They needed not only a point guard, like they just didn't have anyone at that role, but they also needed someone who could hold people accountable and do the things that he's done for that team. I don't think Miami needed that. They kind of got that kind of guy in Jimmy Butler. They got the playmaker in Bam Adebayo. They didn't need, like, a pure point guard like Chris Paul as much. And then the other thing is, Phoenix, because of how bad they are and because nobody wants to play there, they have to go out and acquire an old dude who's making $80 million over the last 2 years of his deal. They don't have a choice. If you're Miami, you're a destination, you have a choice. You can say, is this the best use of our cap flexibility? And that's the last thing you have to think to yourself. At the time when he was available, so was Giannis Antetokounmpo. When you're in Miami, you could not jeopardize the 2021 cap room to get an older Chris Paul. That wasn't a knock on him as a player. It's just saying it's just the most efficient use of our cap flexibility. I think he's in exactly the right place he needed to be.
Amin El Hassan joining us. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Darth Amin. Amin, should Toronto be this bad? Do they have enough excuses to struggle this much, or should they? I know they've had their share of injuries and COVID and all that, just like a lot of teams. But should they be ninth right now in this conference?
Yeah, I mean their story is very close to the Miami Heat story. Our best players were hurt, and we had COVID protocol issues. And unlike the Heat, the whole organization has to play in a new city, right? Like, everyone's getting used to a new facility that no one's ever played in, never has ever visited. You're staying in, not your house. If your family's here, they're staying in not their house. If your family isn't here, you miss your family. Toronto has had the roughest go, really, of any organization in this post-bubble season because they have to deal with things that nobody else has to deal with. And, it's not even like they moved to another NBA city, so it's like, oh, yeah, I kind of know this place. Oh, man, how many NBA guys know about Tampa? Why would they ever be in Tampa? So this is all brand new to them. I think considering they've done pretty well, but again, just like Miami, just like Boston, they had reasons other than just kind of we haven't been playing well. They had real health reasons. And as they get healthy, I think in the second half of the season, you'll see them also make a push to move up.
You mean they don't know Mons Venus? Are you serious?
I don't know Tampa either, so you got me there.
Oh, seriously, that's one of the most famous strip clubs of all time, Mons Venus. Seriously. Like, it's known, it's legendary, but again, it's not an NBA city, so I guess that's why. Is there a team right now that's out of the playoff race that you feel is the dark horse team that's going to get back into the race? That is in Toronto, by the way, that we just talked about. Is there another team on the East or the West that you're looking at, you're going, this is a team that's going to get back into the race? Amin, did we lose you?
I got you. I'm
okay.
Doing some thinking. You made me put my thinking hat on there. Not in the race. So first of all, because now we have a new definition for not in the race. Are you talking about not in the top 8?
Right, exactly.
Or not in the top 10?
Exactly. Not in the top 8. That is in Toronto because we just talked Toronto.
Right. Because as we know now, we're going to have that play-in tournament between 7, 8, 9, 10. And that can change really quickly. I would say I'll give you one from each conference. In the West, I go Golden State. I think, again, they dealt with injuries. And there was a time when they didn't even have a center available. In the East, I would say Indiana because they're going to get Karis LeVert back this Saturday. And obviously he's been a great player for Brooklyn the last couple of years on the cusp of being an all-star. And now, thankfully he had that mask removed. He's fine. He's cleared. He's ready to go. And quite frankly, he's a better player than Victor Oladipo in his current state. And so Indiana really massively upgraded their roster when they acquired him. But obviously he hasn't been available until now. So Indiana in the East and the Warriors in the West.
Where does Kyle Lowry end up? Does he end up in a Heat uniform?
I think if he goes anywhere, it's going to be Philadelphia. Wow. He's from there. He went to college there. There's a strong relationship there. I think if the Raptors end up saying, "Hey, we fold," then they're going to send him to his home. Also, I don't think he could. Man, like the body fat percentage test and the stuff down here, I don't know if he'd pass.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna struggle. I know I would struggle with that one, but he will definitely struggle with that one. Follow him on Twitter at Darth Amin. Amin, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, O.
You got it, baby. You be good. Don't forget, Heat and NBA fans, you can catch Ira Winderman here exclusively at OnsideRadio.com with our accurate Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Catch Ira throughout the week at OnsideRadio.com. And when news breaks, basketball fans know Onside Radio is the place you get the insight you need.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
If you missed the J-Rod experience, then you missed this.
I think they're trying to do it the right way with Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
And that was the point that I was going to make. I think with Jeter, he's trying to do it the right way because he did it the right way as a player, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. Remember, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year, but COVID canceled the ceremony. And so Jeter is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And I bring that up because we just had the writers not elect anyone into the Hall of Fame. So instead of it being a donut, we're going to have Jeter's ceremony. And I won't give them all the credit, but low key, that's actually good for Major League Baseball.
It's a great PR move.
Now, granted, Major League Baseball has nothing to do with the Hall of Fame. They don't run it. They don't influence it. But it's actually a great move because it's Jeter. It's purist baseball. It's everything that people like about baseball.
J-Rod experience every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. right here at OnsideRadio.com.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong, deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger! He was a captain and Ginger! Captain and Ginger! He was a captain and Ginger!
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Big O. You know, air quality in your home or business is so important now, folks. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning. Let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. M&S is always on call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. and, of course, emergency Sundays. Call for more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans. Visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
If you missed Chirping the Cats radio with David Dwork, then you missed this.
Through the 2017-18 season, Barkov was 54% success rate in shootouts, 19 for 35, 19 shootout goals through the first 4 or 5 years of his career. Since then, Bupkis. I mean, he used to be the guy that came out with some of the most inventive, crazy moves. You remember that one where he slapped his stick on the ice with just leaving the puck alone for going backhand? I want to say it was on Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, he's turned goalies inside out. He can use a move more than once. Clearly, somebody told him that about the backhand move. Seems to be the go-to. And I mean, I asked Barkov about it a couple of weeks ago, right before the season started. I asked him, dude, you've been struggling. What's the deal? You know, and he said, yeah, goalies maybe got in my head a little bit. I was thinking that they were reading me. I was trying to read them. Shook his confidence. He said it. Running out of moves is not really an excuse when you've got the skills that you can pull off basically whatever you want.
Chirping the Cats Radio with David Dwork. Saturday mornings 10 to 11 at OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
All right, welcome back, folks.
Crypto
hey,
Bro.
Don't forget, man, M&S Air Conditioning is a proud sponsor of our program, and I'm really happy because we try to create the safest environment here at Onside Radio. We've got all kinds of stuff to sterilize, our tables, mics, all kinds of stuff. So I figured we had to do something with our air conditioning, and you can do it too at your business for your employees, and of course at home. And listen, now it's not just a virus. We have now learned that a lot of us aren't picking up as many colds anymore. Less people are sick because now it's kind of, we figured it out. If we're shaking hands, if we're close distance, if we're breathing all the same air, there's a lot of risk going on. And you can clean the air in your business by installing a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit, either at work or at home like we did. And I want you to call M&S Air Conditioning right now. Mike and Greg, save this number down right now, okay? 954-421-3680. That's 954-421-3680. Call Mike and Greg now, and they can install a high-efficiency polarized air filter to protect your employees and, more importantly, to protect your family. Call M&S Air Conditioning. Go to the website, ac-florida.com. All right, Dono, so what you got going on today, my man?
Well, it's going to be a busy Friday, Foodie Friday, you know, the theme for Fridays. And something I was thinking about today, this is a bit nostalgic because I don't know about you, but I haven't been in a movie theater for over a year, right? But, I mean, at some point, I would think that's going to be a part of my life again.
I just talked about this when I get because on the 21st.
You're almost fully vaccinated.
I get my second vaccination. I was saying that I'm going to go cut my hair, and maybe I can go to a movie theater or something like that, right?
And you know what? Because something was sparked in me. Because you remember, like a few days ago, our guy Tito, who he never prepares, he never packs a lunch, he never has food with him. So
never watches Smoking the Bandit.
Right, but he always scavenges for food during breaks, and he found a bag of popcorn around here. And a few days ago, he popped it over in that room, and so it smelled like a movie theater in here for 3 days. So we're gonna rank the best movie theater snacks. Today is our Foodie Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
And we got a loaded show when it comes.
I love Whoppers at a movie theater. That's the only time I eat Whoppers.
Yes, and that's a key. Because, see, I want to really emphasize foods that you would only eat at a movie theater.
I ate Whoppers when I was a kid.
Sure.
When it first came out, that it was like this revelation. Wow, you taste Whoppers? But I never have Whoppers unless I'm at the theater.
I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because I'm getting to be an older man now, and the older I get, the more appreciation I have for Raisinets. I like Raisinets.
I've never been in a Raisinette.
There's something, and I would only eat them at a movie theater.
Hold on. I'm making a phone call. Hold on. FBI? Yeah, right here.
Telling you.
Inter Miami Stadium, 3rd floor. Guy's talking about Raisinets. The hell?
I mean, I would never eat them outside of a movie theater, but a couple years ago.
Raisinets and snow cones.
Snow caps. Those are good, too.
Okay, I'll take snow caps. Snow caps are good.
What about cookie dough bites?
Oh, those are so good. Those are so good.
Cookie dough bites are good.
And those are things you would only eat at a movie theater.
Right.
You're never going to sit on your ass at home and bring out a box of cookie dough
bites. What about Crunch a Bunch, right?
Bunch of Crunch? Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that what it is? Bunch of Crunch?
Bunch of Crunch.
Liars Menard?
Leonard Myers?
Leonard Myers.
Whichever one.
Zach Seiler or Sealer?
Either one. Seiler.
Who's on first? What's on second?
Exactly. It's all the same.
Oh, man.
So it's all the same. And by the way, you could still get that movie need if you want. Just go to the swap shop.
Oh, the drive-in.
Yeah.
In your car.
You know, I've
That's
never.
a safe way of watching.
And I've never done. And I used to years ago. For 95% of my life, I've lived in Dade County, but I did for a couple of years live pretty close to the swap shop in Plantation, and I never actually went in there I've never been to a drive-in movie in my entire life.
Oh, dude, really?
Never experienced it.
Oh,
no.
You should go, man. It's good times when you go to a drive-in. You're in your own car.
Actually, you know what? That's not true. Because technically, I did go because about 10, 11 months ago, early in the pandemic, they had turned Hard Rock Stadium into a drive-in.
that's right, you
I went to that.
That's
I saw Back to the Future there. So, okay, never mind. I have been to a drive-in.
Yeah, I've been to a drive-in. That was a drive-in. A smart move by them.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was awesome.
So, no, I have been to a drive-in. Never mind.
All right, so it's a Foodie Friday. What else you got going on?
Well, we're going to get our bets for the weekend from Lee Sterling, who's been on fire.
Okay.
I got his UFC picks last week. He went 5-0. So he saved he single-handedly saved my account. We'll see if he can follow that up. Omar Kelly is going to do his weekly segment with us. We'll talk Miami Dolphins. I saw he participated in one of those mock drafts that include trades, and I saw the results of his draft, and it actually made me pretty excited as a Dolphin fan because he got a lot of players that I would actually want in a Dolphins uniform. So I'm going to ask him about that. We're going to talk Panthers with Jameson Olive from FloridaPanthers.com. I loved what my Cats did yesterday, coming from 4-1 down.
That was amazing.
That was so good.
That was amazing.
That was
wow.
so
I
good.
even thought, this is looking bad right now for tonight. And then they started to come back, and it was like, okay. Once they got the second goal, I was like, okay, these guys are storming back.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was really, and Frank Vetrano was clutch once again. And we're going to talk
Dude,
about.
He has a tendency of doing that.
He always scores the late goals.
Yeah.
Like and I love it because you know that, and obviously the Panthers have great goal scorers like the Hornquists and the Barkovs and the Hubertos, but you know the guy who's going to step up and score regulation later in overtime, it's always Frank Vetrano.
Yeah.
Right? It's always him. And we're going to talk about what was turned out to be a failed investment in Cristiano Ronaldo. I know the fanboys don't want to hear it. We're going to talk about that with Frank Crivello from the Serie A sit down later. So we have a loaded show today.
Money Man Vetrano. All right, we wrap it up. Jonathan Ledyard. We thank Amino Hassan and Michelle Kaufman. Tito, as always, you're an ass kicker, except you don't watch Smokey and the Bandit. We thank all of you for tuning in, subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. We'll see you on Monday. Stay locked right here. Alex Dano, man of the match, next.
Match with Alex Dano. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
We live in challenging times, and we understand you have questions about how you're going to take care of your family and yourself. Well, you can trust the Publix is doing everything possible to help. Our stores continue to be open. We're busy restocking as quickly as we can. But please remember to think of others as you shop for the week ahead. This will give your friends and neighbors the opportunity to get what they need as well. Our supply chains are strong. Deliveries are being made throughout the day, and our associates are here every step of the way. It's not always going to be perfect, but together we'll make it through this. So let's be safe. Let's be calm. Let's be kind. Visit Publix.com for all the latest information.
You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Dano.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah!